Okay, there we go. It is looking like it's capturing audio fine. Capturing audio output pretty good. Hopefully those. I turned down the sound effects from last time. How are they on your side?
They're like there, but they're not that loud, which is kind of nice. I might even I might even bump mine down just a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna turn it down on
Yeah.
my side then. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, I like
Or,
that.
or a
It
little
sounds
quieter?
ambient. Yeah, it sounds ambient without being too quiet.
A little
All right.
quieter, you think?
Yeah, try just a little quieter.
What about now?
Bump it up just a little bit.
There?
A little bit more.
We're almost back to where we were.
Bump it down just a little bit.
I think there's just louder and quieter points on this tone.
Yeah, like the. Okay, that's good. I think that's a good spot.
I bumped it down a little bit. Like you said, but
I actually went back and listened to our video, and I was like, I mean, other than the points where like you were cutting out, that kind of sucked. But I thought we did a pretty good job.
yeah, well, we're being recorded right now. So
Okay,
I'm
so
drinking tea and you're eating ramen. I'm Jacob Taylor.
this is Jordan Hutchins.
And
We're here for Marvel Superheroes.
other than our friends, so and us in the future. So
That's right. Hi, Jordan's kids.
Hi Jordan. Next
Yeah,
time.
right. Right.
Hey, on the bright
6 months.
side, my mic is way better.
Yeah, you're coming in. You're coming in, Crystal.
Yeah, I
Um,
dug around and found the cord. So
nice.
I tested it out
Um,
in Spellbound Kingdoms and it worked pretty well.
yeah, you sounded really good then. So
Should have
you're
recorded
using
that
that.
too. Nobody's playing Spellbound Kingdoms.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's no like Discord uh
There might be a Discord
let's
actually.
plays of those, is there?
Well,
Or Twitch or whatever.
maybe we should live stream these too.
Yeah. Who would watch them?
I don't know. There's weird people in the world. It'd be
Hmm.
interesting in watching us. No, I would
Yeah. What
say,
if we?
it could be pretty interesting. I mean, it's pretty fast paced, so somebody would
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. We accomplished a lot. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, and Jordan and Jake of the future, let's do a recap of what happened last time.
Yeah, go for it.
So, where we last left off in the Ralph Containe family vacation arc, they had found out that there was a hidden personality within Shooting Star, placed there by the Hobgoblin during her imprisonment with them, and they made a detour into New York State to meet with Charles Xavier at the Xavier Institute, and that meeting was facilitated or set up by Mentalist, and it was like not super encouraging because Charles Xavier, one of the most powerful and well-regarded telepaths and psychiatrists in the world, after a pretty extensive scan of Victoria's brain, was like, yeah, there's obviously tampering here, but I can't glean anything other than memories have been scrubbed, and there's a wall here that even I can't get through. And the Containe family was kind of discouraged by that, but Ralph had a bit of a personal epiphany where he realized that like some problems he just can't fix, and he needs to be okay with that and ask the people in his life, what do you want to do about this problem? That's personal to you. So he asked that to Victoria. He's like, what do you want to do? And she said that she really appreciated that, and she just wanted to go on vacation with him. So that issue is certainly not resolved, but they have a way forward, at least as a family, that will hopefully there'll be some peace there. They got to meet a lot of the different friends of theirs at the X-Men Institute, some folks that Ralph had never like worked with before, but had obviously heard of, like Wolverine and Elektra and their two little kind of barely tame children. Um, Met friends, and then proceeded on to Philadelphia, where they, along with Raycoon, uncovered a plot by the Red Skulls to blow up Independence Hall. Classic 1940s World War II era comic book stuff here. They were very quickly actually able to neutralize the threat, but that came only after Raycoon had some sparrings with the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes. There was some confusion about who was a hero and who was a villain, but that was resolved. Captain America showed up. He and Ralph kind of reconnected for a few minutes, but then they had to siege Independence Hall. Ralph flew the explosive device out and pitched it into the sky where it detonated harmlessly, and Captain America dove into the Red Skull's aircraft just as it was making its getaway, and so Cap is now MIA, but on the ship of the Red Skull, and Bucky Barnes was able to trace the flight of this aircraft to Washington, D.C., where coincidentally the Containe family was traveling anyways.
Was it Bucky that did it, or was it Falcon? Because he was there too.
Yeah, Falcon was there too. I want to say it was probably Falcon, because he's more like the techie guy. I think it was probably Falcon. But either way, I think that last we saw, it was heading south to Maryland, presumably to Washington, D.C.
But Falcon was at least born in an era when computers were common.
Yeah, that's true. Bucky, and I really like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier that they like touch on that. It's like, I like music, yeah, but all your stuff's old. All right, I like 40s music. Like, leave me alone. That's when I was raised. I think that's really funny. I can just like see him going to like veterans like meetups and stuff. There's like all these old, the World War II era guys are like dying off, and then there's just like Bucky sitting there remembering times with them.
Yeah, I did not watch that one, but that sounds really good.
You should see it. It's a really good show.
That one looks really interesting. The Loki one does not look that interesting to me. I like Loki and the actor. I feel like what's his name, Tom Hiddleston, did a really great job. And he kind of really brought a lot of that modern feel to Loki, and I think they did a really good job with how that dynamic's grown. But I don't really care about
like his story and stuff, right?
Yeah, he's a super villain, right? I mean,
he's interesting, but I don't know. We'll see. But then he was pretty cool, like in Thor: Dark World, like freaking out because his mom had died and stuff. I thought that they kind of gave him more depth as.
Yeah, I mean, he's been easily the best. Characterized supervillain in the story.
Easily. Yeah, easily, and it's because he's not like just like evil, I mean, he is, but like he's a little bit more of like a person than like Thanos or.
Yeah, well, Thanos was really good, but that was because he was a threat, like a natural disaster kind of level.
He wasn't really interesting like as a character, right? Like his at least I thought.
But my favorite's still been Baron Zemo.
Who?
Baron Zemo.
Oh, Baron Zemo. Oh yeah, and he's really good in that. He's really good in the TV show.
That really
he's really good.
Too. I hope it'd be cool if they did a Thunderbolt spin-off.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Like,
I mean, they've got Venom. I think Venom is like kind of pseudo canon. We'll see if Sony and
I know
and Marvel keep working.
But like, Baron Zemo is one of the founders of the Thunderbolts in the comic books. So.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be really neat to see him get arrested. Don't tell me what happens in Bucky.
Yeah, you should see it. Yeah, because they tie in the Wakandans, and it's actually really good. It's really good. They do some really interesting stuff with race. They kind of tackle on in like a way that Disney's never really had the, in my opinion, like the guts to do. And
Yeah, don't give them too much credit. But
yeah, I just feel like they haven't. And then this, they kind of
they dealt with
they
it.
do.
Or said something. Or at least.
They at least say something. Yeah,
Or
they
they
at
at least
least say
recognize
something.
it, is probably what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and to be fair though, like the Flag Smasher guys, I'd have to go back and watch it again. Like, there's nothing sympathetic about like what they're trying to do. They're just kind of jackasses who are just kind of whiny
I don't know, some
about.
people on the internet seem to think they were sympathetic. But then you can find a lot of people that have radical.
I don't know what their point is, that they're just mad that like they have to share space again with all the people that came back from getting like clicked away. They don't like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe again, I should watch it again and make sure I really understand what they're trying to do. But they're
Well, if
the show gives them a lot more credit than I think they kind of deserve. Of like yeah, they have a mission and they have a message, and
it's an
you know,
interesting adaptation of the Flag Smasher, considering he's like a anarchist, like a straight up anarchist. You know, down with
yeah,
government.
any kind of organized them.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they do a good
job.
job. They're not just like that. They don't want like pure anarchy. I guess what they kind of want is they don't want the world to go back to, maybe this is what they want. They don't want it to go back to like a bunch of borders where everyone's like, okay, American interests in the Middle East and Russia tampering with China, and
Yeah.
they
Well,
kind of want like a more unified world. Yeah,
I think that's kind of what I had read, you know. But
yeah,
like the general anarchist is probably thinking not that they want anarchy in terms of other
right.
chaos, but that
They just don't like the current power structure.
the power structure and nationalities and nations are things that divide us, and if those things cease to exist, people will exist as people, not as another level of identity into nation
Yeah,
states that are
yeah,
really the main the main mover in history in the last, you know, 200
right.
years.
Yeah, yeah. That's true.
Not that I
Yeah,
necessarily agree with anarchists, but you know, that's just
yeah. You should watch the show if you get a chance. It's pretty good. I liked it. I liked it much more than WandaVision. I liked WandaVision, but I liked it a lot more than WandaVision. It felt like an actual like really interesting part of like the Marvel canon, where WandaVision, it could have happened, it could have not. Like nothing's really impacted by it.
yeah, it cleaned itself up by the end, except for it brought Vision back from the dead.
Yeah.
Then it turns out Paul Bettany doesn't have any contract anymore. So did he really get brought back, or is that just out there?
I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't come back to it.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I think he did a good job, but I really liked WandaVision. I thought it was.
Oh, what I meant is like what I meant is like I don't know why he wouldn't just like keep doing the show or doing Marvel stuff. It's an easy moneymaker and he's got a good character, so
Yeah.
might as well. Anyways,
You guys were in Philly, right?
Mhm.
And what was your next steps?
I think we were going to Washington D.C. anyways. So
You guys want to change
Uh,
plans, or you want to keep going that way?
no, I think it makes sense for us to keep going there, especially because that's where the Red Skull was headed, and he's up to no good.
Do you want to? Is that what you want to deal with on your vacation?
No, no one wants to deal with the supervillain on their vacation. I guess Ralph and Victoria and Putin have like a powwow and kind of, you know, ask themselves that, hey, do we want to like get involved in this? We're going down there anyway, so if we go there, we're probably going to get pulled into it because we're, you know, like world-class heroes. But do we want to like skip DC? It's kind of like an awkward place, you know. You know that a crazed terrorist is heading towards the place that you're going, and do you like actively ignore that and like go to?
And it's December 2020, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's getting a little hot and heavy over there.
So I'm thinking that the siege on the Capitol probably gets bumped up a couple weeks. Red Skull brainwashes all the the protesters. Um, yeah. No, I think we go to DC anyways. Like
Okay.
we want to see it.
So
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
think
that
you guys are in your hotel in Philadelphia, and you sit down, and Futin's sitting there. He's tinkering with a set of his tools, kind of work. By the way, I'm still a little sick, so if I get up and have to like blow my nose, just heads up.
that's fine.
Cover your
Yeah, man.
ears as you hear that kind of sound.
Gross.
Yeah, it is. Trust me, I've been dealing with it for the last couple days. Um,
Yeah.
so, anyways, Fujin's there. He's tinkering with his tool set. He's working on some machines in there. You thought he had like an Android in his book bag, and but he like reaches in there and he pulls out um, a little like Rubik's cube sized box, and he's just kind of fiddling with it. You don't know what it is, and I'm not sure Ralph is really willing to push right now to find that
No.
out. And
No.
Victoria is sitting there. She's kind of she has the remote in one hand as you come up, carrying the last set of bags.
Yeah.
Her bags sit by her feet. Futin has gotten his, and you're carrying up yours, and the bag with like the superhero costume and gear for everybody.
Yeah.
And
Like the team bag.
yeah, the team bag. And as you like push the door shut, look around, you know, ask Evie, can you check around, shoot some radio signals out, make sure manipulate with any radio waves, make sure we're not getting picked up on any cameras. And
Yeah, we're not being bugged.
yeah,
Yeah.
You sit down with everybody and you say, what do you all think? And at that point, Victoria looks over, she flips on to the radio, or the TV, it's on the 1930, the TV, and it's on the news, and there are, this is like, I think it was like this early December, right?
Yeah, it's the first week of December, I think.
When you're in Philadelphia, so it's like the 5th
Yeah.
now, we'll say. So, and we are messing with the timeline, real world timeline, but it's like December 5th, and she flips it over, and there are protesters there. They're walking through the streets, you know, disputing the results of the election, or questioning it at the very least.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a variety of people. Depends on what
Yeah.
sites you get to see picking up on the news at the moment. And commenters on various, all the TV stations kind of requesting that this end. Which, I mean, that was what we were seeing when we were there.
Yeah.
And it's pretty peaceful right now. It hasn't resulted in
No violence.
It hasn't resulted in anything too dramatic or anything too newsworthy, other than just another series of protests and shutdown of a major U.S. city, the likes which was seen for almost the entirety of 2020.
Right.
So, as that is the backdrop of your conversation, Victoria kind of looks over at the TV and looks over at you and doesn't say anything. Victoria's always been a person that's been very committed to her beliefs, and she's done what she always thought is right. You know, you met her as basically a secret.
Yeah, that was like one of the things that Ralph was super attracted to her by. Yeah.
And she's always been very capable and very willing to do what she thought she should do, even if it put her in opposition to other people. And
Right.
This time, she doesn't say anything. She'll just kind of eyes you, looks right into your eyes, and
Yeah.
just kind of stares there for a minute. And if you guys lock eyes, you can just look at her, and you can tell that there's like just a weariness going through her.
Tired. Yeah.
She's very tired, more so than you've probably ever seen her, and which is saying a lot because when you were really working with her a lot and knowing her a lot, getting to know her really well, it had a lot to do with the pressure of the hobgoblin, and you were all literally under threat of being murdered.
Yeah. Like on a regular, like, yeah, weekly basis, like putting out crises.
And she's not handling this as well as that.
Hmm.
You haven't really talked to her about why, but whatever it is, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think for everybody involved. But
Yeah, being kidnapped and tortured for
well, she does.
a year.
Yeah, it's the total loss of self and bodily control and mental functions as she became
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah.
Probably affected her more than even threats of the life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Futin just looks at you, looks up for a minute, kind of makes eye contact with you, and kind of shakes his head after he looks at Victoria, and says, "Well, Ralph, whatever you think would be best. I think I'm willing to go do whatever you want."
Okay. Thanks, buddy. You know what? Let's not. How about that, folks? Let's it's Washington D.C. It's right next to New York City. There are heroes, really good heroes that can handle this stuff. Let's do a detour. Go around DC. Just focus on us. Huh? If something comes up, we'll deal with it together, but let's not go looking for any trouble. We've already dealt with a guy who can turn people to stone, and the Red Skull, and he's about to say the Hobgoblin, and then he just, doesn't, and kind of nods and says, I think spending time together as a family is what we need. Yeah? Nick looks at everyone else. Maybe I'll do.
Victoria, catches your eye. She looks a little conflicted. You can see, she just kind of like hesitates. There's a lot of tension in her body, and she opens her mouth as if she's about to say something, and then just flops backwards under the bed, a little over dramatically.
Yeah.
And
Ralph's just gonna pat her on the leg and be like, "It's okay."
And Futin goes back to working on his box, and he says, "Yeah, that's probably for the best."
Yeah, I think it's for the best. Okay. So if we're not gonna go to DC, how do you guys feel about checking out Jamestown? That's old. That's historic. That's not too far, right? Hold on, let me do a quick look.
As you
Jamestown.
finish that one, you hear a yawn, and you look over at Futin, who just covers his mouth. And he says,
Come on, Putin. They have people in bonnets, like churning butter and stuff. It's really great.
He looks at you, and he looks at you like right in the eyes, and cocks his head a little bit, and he says, that place is only like 400 years old. Our place, where we live in a town founded by Vikings.
Yes, I know. Putin, when we get out to John Day, Oregon, that place existed in like 1850. It's all. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, it's all relative, right? It's all relative. History is relative.
He over the cube, and he opens up the bottom, and then something comes up, and some sparks shoot out. He moves his head off to the side, and then he goes back down, leans into it, and he says, "Well, the older me was in 1840."
Ralph will just laugh about that. Like, that's right. Huh. Well, and you'll probably live to what? And he like tries to do the math, and he's, you know, not great at it with his good intelligence. He's like, anyway, you'll live for a couple hundred years yourself. You'll get to tell everybody, in the future what it was like being in 2020. What a terrible year, you know. Anyways, what time is this now?
It's pretty late in the evening.
Yeah. Ralph's like, we've had a long day. Let's turn in and we'll figure out what we want to do tomorrow.
Okay. Late in that evening, in the middle of the night, I want you to roll intuition.
Okay. Let's see. Is there anything that should apply to this, like investigation skills or anything?
No.
Just straight. Okay. It's 40 actually, I think, right? 30 and then a 0.
Just look over the chat.
Oh. Then what is 40 for? I guess 40.
I usually do that as 40 on dice, but since this is a random number generator, just go with what.
Oh, because it'll calculate 1 through 100. Yeah. Okay, so that's hold up here. Let me pull up the chart. I don't know if that's a green. It's almost a green. No, I'll bump it up. I'll spend just a little bit of karma. I'll spend 4 karma and bump it up to a green if that's all right.
Alright.
Yeah, let me actually keep track of my karma.
You can't spend 4. You have to spend 10.
Oh yeah. Okay, then I'll spend 10.
Alright. Yeah, you kind of awaken. And you don't know how you jumped up into action or what you want to do. But you hear a sudden noise outside the room.
Like outside the window or outside the door?
I'm not. You just woke up. I'll tell you once you decide.
Okay.
Are you jumping into action or flying towards it, or?
No. I think that what Ralph does is he's been paranoid already, right? So I think he like opens his eyes and like in one fluid motion kind of slides out of the bed and like kind of wraps all the shadows around him because he's not like in a suit or anything. Wraps like all the shadows around him and then kind of like glides towards the door because he has the shadow power, he can remote sense, so he can like if there's anything out in the hallway, he can see it and hear it.
Well, that's really good actually. So you like jump up a little bit, like move quickly, getting up. Throw Victoria's arm off your shoulder, because it was like she flipped over under her stomach at one point and had an arm like wrapped around your shoulder.
Yeah.
And you're on your back, like getting it almost.
Yeah.
When you wake up, you almost feel like you're getting strangled. And
Yep.
like you get up and onto the floor, you like wrap the shadows all up around you. You see Victoria, she starts to stir. Bruton didn't wake up since you don't really make noise and you stick around like that. And as you take a couple steps forward, you realize you were being really paranoid. And you were hearing sirens, police sirens, and you see down, they just zoomed past the lower floor of the hotel, and it's kind of a rainy, drizzly night in Philadelphia. You look out across the cityscape in front of you, and there's sirens zooming past the bottoms of the thing, and Victoria comes up behind you, kind of pulls the blanket over her shoulder. Nightgown on, and taps you on the shoulder.
Oh, hey, sorry, babe. It's nothing, just sirens. I'm a little conditioned. Not used to not having to respond to those. Sorry.
Rub on your back, and she says, yeah, a little odd, not doing this.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. It's been almost 10 years. Had a couple breaks here and there, but not much. He kind of like wraps his arm around her as they kind of look out the window for a few minutes. And say, well,
Really
And he'll do like the thing where he like kind of folds around and puts his like chin on her, top of her head. And he'll just like rub her shoulder. And just say, yeah. Yeah, I understand. But whatever happens, Victoria, I'm gonna be right there with you through it. It's all we can do.
I never really thought I would stop. Not do this. Finding time, stopping the bad guy. I've always wanted to do it, and instead, I speak up with but, I'm wondering, if she looks up at you and like steps away for a second, and
Yeah.
says, if I were to stop, that would cause a problem with it.
Ralph like looks at her and he like shakes his head. He's like, no, Victoria, you're your own person. You don't have to do any of this. You can stop whenever you want. Hell, for just being a really tough human, no other enhancements. I think you've done an amazing job with all of this. All things considering, when we go into fights, you're at a tremendous risk compared to someone like me or Cap or even Futin over there, and you're still putting your life out there on the line, knowing that even just like a regular bullet puts you down. I don't mean to be depressing, but no, hon, I think you need to step away and take a break. You can do it. You want to stop doing this entirely, you can do it. Hell, your racing career, that's what you want to focus on. You're important, Victoria. The rest of the world out there, and Ralph let point out sidely, it's important, but you've done a really good job keeping it safe, keeping people safe. And I think it's okay if you want to do something else. There's going to be other people who are going to step in and do it. And there's like some part of Ralph, I think there's like some part of him that's scared, Jake, of like her asking him to step away. He's not sure about that yet, but he's not willing to like bring that up yet. He's already, there's been a couple points in his career where he's like questioned, okay, do I keep going on? And he's finally like arrived at a place of balance with like his career versus family versus his mental health and stuff. He's like kind of figured that out, but he's scared now, just as he's like reached that like equilibrium of like stepping away from all of it. So he's not gonna mention that yet. If that makes sense.
Yep. We'll talk about it. I just finished what you were saying. I would say take your aside to mental well-being if you want to discuss it. So like after between games, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Okay, we'll do that. Yeah, so we'll say that. Yeah. Okay, sure.
But,
yeah, we'll say that.
Anyway, we're going to stick with this because I have something I wanted to say. And
Okay.
she says, thanks, but I know you're committed to doing this. It looks, I think part of the reason we're together right now is I was willing to be your partner in your superheroes. Otherwise, and she kind of like looks out the window and doesn't finish what she was about to say. But Ralph is still in the blanks, knowing that he also knows your relation to the Felicia and your previous relationship that almost ended your hero career. Just
Right.
with your last relationship.
Right. Victoria, do you think that if you step away from doing this, that that's going to affect our relationship in any way? I mean, it will in some sense. You know, you and I wouldn't be going on patrol together or anything, but that's what are you thinking?
There isn't really, she was anything else for a little bit, kind of standing a little bit away from you, and then she just kind of comes up and puts her arm around her waist and says, "It's nothing, Ralph. I don't know what I mean. I'm just a little nervous right now."
Okay. And Ralph, yeah, he'll crawl back in and he'll like wrap his arm around her and hug her as they go back to sleep. But he's thinking about it, you know, and he says like a little silent prayer, like, "God, work this out for us." And then he'll fall back asleep.
Okay. I'm gonna give you 20 armor right now for the roleplay.
Okay, thanks. This is good. This is. Well, whatever. We'll finish this scene and then we'll go from there. Okay. This is good. I like that we're like starting getting into like questioning, like, okay, you know, Ralph's been doing this for a while, Victoria's been doing this for a while. Now they're a family, like what's next? This is stuff that I think has been coming for you and I have been kind of waiting for this for quite a while. So
you get to go into when there's not a lot of people.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right. Okay.
So yeah, the next morning you all wake up and go downstairs and have a delicious continental breakfast. You get down there.
Ralph loves Apple Jacks, or
Putin also really likes Apple Jacks. It's a flashback. You have a flashback to watching cartoons. In your little apartment eating Apple Jacks after you're like all one block.
It's all like torn up.
Apple Jacks, Putin sitting next to you eating Apple Jacks.
Yeah.
Watching the news where Autopsy's fighting Orca again.
Yeah. He's like, you see that move? He's really tough, but I got him under his arm and I was able to pinch him. Oh. He's like, sorry. And, my hand's cramping around the spoon.
And Victoria's got like some oatmeal, and she's got like that kind of. You're questioning when they put out the fruit because you got down here pretty early, but it still looks a little old.
Yeah.
And
like the banana that's like obviously been like a few days old.
Yeah, it's like it's not brown yet, but it's not the banana color. The like off-white.
Yeah, it's way more freckly than it should be.
Yeah. So as you guys are sitting down there enjoying your delicious and free continental breakfast.
That's right.
Victoria, says, "So where are we headed to, Ralph?"
Well, like I said, we've got Jamestown. Let's just go around DC. I think that's
that one, says Putin.
What does he say?
I said, let's vote on Jamestown. Raise your hand if you want to go.
Ralph raises his hand. Is he the only one that raises his hand?
There's a long silence.
Okay, fine, but I'm open to ideas. let's here. And he's like, Edie, oh, and then he's about to ask her to like pull up a map like on the table, and then he like looks around because this Ralph's wearing his like image enhancer, right? Or his what did we call it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your your projector.
Image inducer. Yeah. The image inducer. So he's like, okay, I can't use like high tech. He'll like pull out his phone, which is I think just literally like a
Victoria just
box.
reaches backwards and like reaches into the tea bag and pulls out a paper map.
Okay, yeah. So they'll pull it out, and he'll say, okay, it'll be a bit of a hike. Oh, we could go and see the horses at Shikatik Island. They're wild horses that run around. You guys interested in that?
Victoria goes, hey, how about we start heading west a little bit? We can
Okay.
stop over somewhere along the way, and let's go to Chicago.
Okay, that sounds great.
And,
Never been?
Futin goes, actually, there's a place I wanted to stop along the way, if that's fine with everybody. Kind of being one of the first things he's asked for on the trip. He says, there's this guy, he's in Cincinnati, he's like really good making like robotic stuff, and I really want to go see if I can get a meeting with him or something and kind of take a tour of how at this factory he's doing some really amazing things. He works at Advanced Future Prosthetics.
Okay. Sure. Let's do it. I like it. There's a plan. At this point, have we been driving in vehicles? No, because we took Amtrak. So we'll have to rent a car.
Well, you want to rent a car or you want to take an Amtrak?
Does Amtrak go out to Cincinnati?
Yes. Run straight to Cincinnati from Washington, D.C., actually.
Oh, well,
It's super slow, though.
another vote. Who wants to take that? Or have Victoria drive us very fast down West Virginia country roads?
When you say that, Futon's kind of like, Victoria goes, yeah. And Futon goes, the train can't be that slow, right? And he raises his hand for the train.
No, it's really slow, Putin. Ralph raises his hand for the car.
Okay.
It's really slow. Like terribly slow. Like, Tony Stark and Reed Richards, Putin, are curing cancer and putting people on Mars, and the Amtrak is still slow. It doesn't make any sense.
He just looks incredibly puzzled by this. He's like, but is it like slow like the passenger trains Cork from like Paris to coast, or is it like slow like the ones from Warsaw to Macau? And Victoria
It's like
says,
thinking about that, he's like,
Victoria's like, it's like if you drive the speed limit, which is in miles per hour here, like 60, the whole way, it'll take you like 8 hours. But if you take the train, it'll take you like 24 hours.
yeah, exactly. So it's really slow because they stop all the time, and people get on and people get off, and some people forget their bags, and so they wait for them, and sometimes there's like an animal that's like crossed and died in the tracks, and it's not great.
And dissuading him, he looks a little bit upset at this point, like a little disappointed, and you also know that he's like not terribly great fan of riding with Victoria. who
She's like really scary in the car.
who tries to do all the driving,
Yeah.
and we'll fight for
Yeah.
it. Um,
Yeah.
but
I bet you they have. I bet you they have like marksman's contest. She's like, okay, if you can like knock that leaf off that tree, you can drive. And like Ralph has never been able to do it.
Futen's the competition. He tries to convince her that a robot will drive, and he once won one of the marksman competitions by using a computer to aim for him. And she's like, robots can drive, and still drove.
It's
And
not legal.
so as you guys are doing that, you're like, we need to rent a car. And Victoria, as you're like walking out the door carrying the bags, Victoria looks over at you just disgusted. And she
Yeah.
says,
She's like, please.
no.
I own my own car dealerships.
And actually, you go to, man, what would the, I don't know, like, we need a super fast American car. I mean, she's from Texas.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe she grabs. Well, she's not a Tesla person. She's not like an
Well, you
electronic
know,
battery
I mean,
car
she's probably
person.
not against the super high. She met you in a high-tech convertible. Oh, you know what? She goes and buys one of the Stark fusion-powered,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
reactor-powered cars from
yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
one of the showcase cars. Drops $1
yeah.
million
The arc
on a throwaway
reactor.
vehicle.
Yeah, the arc reactor vehicles.
Yeah.
Sure.
And she says, "Look at this, Ralph. This one, the dealer is telling me this one goes 0 to 100 in 1.4 seconds."
Well, that's about as good as me. That's really cool.
Putin takes the cube out that he was holding, and he presses a button, and a little force field pops up around him, and he sits down in the back seat. So, as you take your place in the front seat, she tells everyone to buckle in, and promptly hits about 50 miles per hour as tires squeal out of the dealership.
Yeah,
She throws on the brake and does like a Batman turn.
power slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then swerves between incoming and outgoing traffic as you zoom out.
Also, like, hold on. Jeez, honey. Okay.
Headed southwest, she really opens it up after she gets out of the turnpike. You're pretty sure you looked over at the speedometer. It's like 125 at one point, maybe 140.
Yeah.
Quit looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Just try not to like get sick. Feel sick.
You guys are zipping around mountain roads in West Virginia, like 2-lane roads, with like what do they call it? Margins at the edge of the thing.
Yeah. The rails, the guardrails.
No. What's it called? The little buffer.
The shoulder.
Shoulder. That's
Oh yeah. The rumble
where
strip.
The shoulder's like a foot across. You know?
Yeah.
And like she's
Yeah.
around on the mountain roads, and like you look over and you can see where they've carved this mountain road by cutting the mountainside out, and just kind of it's almost
Yeah.
like, it's not a straight drop down, but it's like a 70
Yeah.
degree angle off the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
You pass over one of those bridges over New River Gorge, and you look down like 1,000-foot drop, and you're just flying through West Virginia. She took you immediately off of the highways. You know, you zoom past, you pass somebody almost as soon as you see them. Sometimes you pass somebody, and like the person who's coming at you in a semi is like 10 feet away from Victoria's door, which is doors back.
Oh jeez. Yeah. Ralph is feeling stressed. He knows that she's like having a great time and stuff, so he's not going to say much. But he just like looks back at Futon and like gives him a very meaningful like eyebrow raise.
She's able to drive a lot faster here than she does usually in Ireland. A lot less people.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Winter in West Virginia, probably not as many folks.
Yeah, it's winter in West Virginia. It's actually pretty cold at this point in time, so you do hit some snow drifts in areas. You know, you've got to slow down to the 60s, 70s.
Yeah. Oh, geez, man. And we've both driven through West Virginia, so this is
We know exactly what
dangerous.
it's like. So, yeah.
Did we come by? Did we come by Portsmouth, and did she go? Did she go like into Ohio and down, or does she come like through Kentucky and up?
She'll probably go Kentucky and uh, through Lexington. You know.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, Ralph's gonna like stop at one of the distilleries, maybe like Buffalo Trace, get a bottle of bourbon. He thinks that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it takes you
He's not like,
you go about 5. It takes you about 5 hours to cover the
geez,
difference between Washington D.C. and Lexington. Uh,
holy smokes.
so you were usually about you were averaging probably about double the speed limit the whole way.
Yeah, like 120 the whole way.
Yeah,
Wow.
and she stayed off most of the highways to avoid police. Uh,
Okay. Yeah, I think Ralph is like pretty rattled when they stop for lunch. He's like, okay, babe, thanks for driving. You know what? These roads, it's easy. It's easy going on up into Cincy. How about I drive for a little bit after lunch?
she like
And then he,
lets out a big yawn. She's like, "Oh, actually, why don't I drive us to a friend of mine's house? He owns a big ranch up here. They race horses. I really would like to see that one. We could stop over there for a little bit. It'd be great to see him.
okay,
It's not far.
yeah,
It's not far from one of those distilleries you want to see. Maker's Mark.
all right, that'll work. Maker's Mark, they're the guys that dip the bottle right in the candle.
Yeah. They were near.
Yeah, that'll work.
Weren't they not that far from where you work?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. Well, that was kind of outside of Lex. That wasn't near Lexington
No,
because I was.
not. But you guys have to go south to go there. There's probably another hour south. Well, not
Okay.
at the rate you're going, but
Yeah,
probably 20 minutes.
yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, all right, we'll go see our buddy.
yeah. Fly down there, and before you're talking about the oil and the thing, and Putin's like, that sounds like a great idea, Ralph. I would really like to do that. Can we stop? and
Yeah, yeah, sure.
and
um,
she's like, well, why don't before we stop there, let's just go visit. I think they're really close by. He has something to do with them. I don't really know what it is. Maybe they work there. And so you drive up, and there's this big farm. It's got those piled up stone walls out front with a big
yeah.
decorative gate and horses like walking around the top of the gate. You drive up, zoom down at a much slower pace, like 30 on the gravel road there. You see a piece
Oh,
of gravel fly up, and it
just like go.
it shoots through the convertible canvas roof, and it bounces off Putin's shield.
Babe, come on, babe.
And she says, no. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, we were going too fast. My bad. And
With like gravel's like pinging off of his face.
you slow down as you get in a little closer, and you pass through another set of walls, smaller walls, like a wooden picket fence. And you come up to this giant mansion,
Yeah,
It's
huge.
it's got a west wing and an east wing, and then it has a central hallway. And you see in the back, there's like this perfectly manicured red barn, and you're like, man, this is somebody's decorative house, mansion. And then you see the doors open, and they actually herd some horses out of that gate. And you can tell they just probably pay somebody like every couple of months to come in and paint the whole barn again.
Yeah, okay.
And as you all step out, somebody walks out of the door, kind of wearing jeans and with a flannel shirt, got a coat
Okay.
over, like mostly over mostly over, but it's Kentucky, so there's not really even snow on the ground at this point. There's a light dusting of an early December snow that'll probably melt by Christmas. Um, and
Yeah. Exactly.
uh, as you're walking up, the person comes forward and they say, "Excuse me, ma'am, sir, uh, I work here and wondering what you were doing." And Victoria looks at them and says, I'm looking for uh, I'm looking for Frank LaRosa, I believe. Uh, is he here right now?" And the person looks at her and says, "Who may I ask is looking for Mr. LaRosa?" And and she says, "Victoria Starwin, the Starwin family." And his eyes kind of brighten up, widen. Oh, and he says, "Oh, are you Mr. Starwin's daughter?" And she shakes her hand, and they start talking a little bit back and forth about how her father was up here a while ago buying horses. And as you guys are walking over, and she's talking to him and said, "So how did they do in the Derby?" And the person's like, "Oh, they did really excellently this year. We won it. We lost it the last couple of years, but this is a good turnaround." And going on back and forth.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So do you wanna? This is
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ralph introduces himself. So this is someone that she works with. What was the name of the guy that she said?
Frank LaRosa.
Frank. Does that name ring any bells for Ralph?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Ralph just introduces him as her husband, Ralph. This is how do they?
Yeah, usually you introduce yourself. You're like, I'm Ralph. Pleasure to meet you. And Victoria says, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. What was your name?" To the person in there, and
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, I'm Peter. Frank hired me to help train the horses, and I've been only working here a couple years now. And we probably haven't met." And Victoria turns back to you and she says, "Frank was one of the people we bought horses from for our ranch.
Okay.
He has he's probably one of the best horse breeders in the country."
Did your family ever compete in the Derby?
Oh no, we just did rodeo.
Okay.
But
Bruton.
I
You're
like
saying horses?
I like to get thoroughbreds for riding.
Yeah, he explains to Peter that he grew up out in Eastern Oregon, and so there were ranchers and stuff, but he was always pretty uncomfortable around horses, not really his thing. But
Peter looks
he'd
at
be really interested.
looks at Victoria, looks at you, looks at Victoria, and she says, "That's nice, Ralph. Good. Nice to meet you." And he shakes your hand.
Friggin' idiot.
He doesn't. He doesn't really recognize you though.
Yeah, well, thankfully for the image inducer.
Well, I mean, I don't even think you probably have an image condition, right? On this point, does it really matter?
No, not out in Kentucky, I guess.
You only use the image condition, so you don't get formed with paparazzi, right?
Yeah, true.
You're
Yeah,
public
and
a year on
yeah. That's right because Ralph and Victoria, people know they got married and stuff. There's probably in some tabloids. So I think yeah. All right, then, and he'll kind of just let Victoria kind of take the show here. This is her people, but he's gonna ask Peter about the horses, kind of learn a little bit more, try and educate himself, figure out how do they.
Peter's happy to talk to you about it. He's been, this was kind of his dream job since the horses here are yearly competitors. They yearly compete in all the big horse races. Like the Kentucky Derby, the Triple. You know, he thinks
The Oaks and
yeah, the
sure.
horse this year that they had that he was just talking about was the one they were just chatting about the winner of the Kentucky Derby this year, and they're going on to compete for the Triple Crown. Thinks they might have a shot. And he just tells you about that. You have some jockeys walking around. They take the horse out and walk him a couple laps. The vet comes over and checks on him. And as you're walking over to the barn, like a gray hair, got a short little beard. He's got a little bit of weight on him. He's not like in great shape, but he's not like really overweight. He like comes out looking pretty happy. He says, "Oh, Peter, it's great to came out here. The horses are looking great today. We're really set." And he then sees Victoria as he's talking to Peter. He says, "Victoria, how's your father doing?" And he like comes over and like gives her a hug. And she says, "Oh, great, Mr. LaRosa." And you gotta remember, she has like a Western, Southernish.
Yeah. She sounds like she's from Texas, and is this guy from Kentucky?
No, actually. He
Okay.
sounds like pretty much like a Yankee. A pretty
Okay.
flat,
Neutral kind of
little
accent.
bit like northern accent, like a little bit
Okay.
like that northeasterner, but not so much.
Okay. But he's not from Texas. He's not from Kentucky.
No.
Okay.
And she says, "This is my husband, Ralph Containe," and he looks at you and he says, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you." And it doesn't seem to recognize you at all.
Meet you, Frank. You got some beautiful horses.
He smiles at that real big, and he pats you on the back and says, "You can pick on Victoria. I assume he's a writer too, huh?" And
Ralph was like,
Victoria
smile.
looks at him and is like, "Not really."
I was like, no. But, always happy to learn and appreciate another man's craft. So, and he'll just like do some chit chat kind of stuff, ask about how he got in the business, what some challenges are in the industry right now, just kind of general stuff. I imagine at this point, like Ralph, he already likes people and he's probably gotten really good at just connecting with, the public and stuff on what they care about. So,
Mr. LaRosa was a real estate magnate in upstate New York, owning property in Albany, Syracuse, Buffalo, a little bit in New York City itself. Sold out of it, bought a majority stake in Maker's Mark and this horse ranch.
then Ralph will connect with him on the bourbon, and he'll talk about how living out in Ireland, there's a lot of good whiskeys, but he doesn't know a whole lot about bourbon. So learn a little bit more.
And so you guys chat, and he says that he's really excited to talk to you, and he has somebody bring out his horse and one for Victoria, and asks if Lieutenant Ralph can ride well enough to get over there. Of course they can ride, and Victoria's like she's hesitating. You could tell.
Ralph looks at Fuchs and he's like, if I'm going to do this, you're going to do this.
As you see this conversation go on, you can tell she has a reputation, and whatever reputation it is some sort of like horseback, like not a protege, but
Yeah, like she's friggin' good at this stuff, right?
yeah, a prodigy,
Yeah.
She was like you haven't really talked. You talked to her a little bit about it. She used to do a lot of radios, and she was really good. There was kind of an assumption that she would still be doing that kind of stuff to this guy. Obviously,
Yeah.
keep that close in contact with the family.
Right.
And these kind of assumptions keep cropping up over and over. And she kind of hesitates, like, how do I tell them? They don't really know anything about living.
Don't know anything. Yeah, I imagine it's like one of those things where he brings out the horses. You got like big old tall like Ralph, and you got little short Futon, but they both like
Well,
are
Futon's
like on the
like
same.
5'6" now.
Oh, is he? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because Futon
he's 14 years
Futon
older.
Senior was tall, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's as tall as you normally. I like he'll get
No, Ralph's pretty big. I think
he'll
he's like
reach like
Ralph's like 6'2".
yeah he'll be like 5'10" 5'9".
Okay. Okay, but Futon's a lot taller than I thought he was. Okay, so I just imagine though that like there's like both of them though, and they both look like really small. There's like this giant horse. They're just kind of like, you know, we kind of looking at. And Ralph's gonna lean over to Futon. He's like, all right, we got it. We're in this together, man. If I do this, you gotta do this.
Putin looks over at Ralph, and as you're saying that, he presses the button behind his ears, and the visor flips over his eyes, and then it disappears. And he says, "Good luck, Ralph." And he just jumps up onto the back of the horse, swings his leg over, it slides straight into the stirrups, and he goes, "Yep." And as he does, the horse just starts trotting forward. And Victoria's like, "I didn't know you knew how to ride, Putin." And he's like, "Oh, I just learned."
He's got like the friggin' like Wikipedia programming. Ah, okay. All right, Ralph. He'll take the reins and he'll like whisper to Victoria. He's like, okay, like, what's the trick?
You get some really vague stuff about feeling how the animal's feeling and just kind of trying to adjust the reins while giving pressure, but not too much pressure, and trying to steer with your legs, keeping pressure on the sides of the horse. But then
Yeah, Ralph's like,
she's like, do not squeeze too hard, you will kill it. She says that out loud, and like, Frank turns around and says, what? He was talking to Futin, he's like, wow, you really think that would work? is what you hear him say. And Futin's nodding at him, and he's like, yeah, I think you would see probably a 4% on average increase. And he says, wait, what did you say? Back at you two? And Victoria says, nothing.
yeah, all right. And Ralph's gonna like put his foot in the stirrup, put his hand on the horn, and like kind of look at her like he's doing this right, and like swing his leg over.
Make an agility check.
All right. You know what? Just for humor purposes, though, let's say that Ralph has to roll this at like excellent as opposed to amazing agility.
Okay, -3. We'll give you -4. What's that?
Um. 1, 2, 3, 4. That puts him at remarkable.
Okay, roll on the
All right.
Nice.
58. Okay. He gets a green.
Yeah,
He pulls
gets
himself
on,
up.
and he starts. You're like, Victoria like helps you,
Whoa.
guides your hand, and you're like, you're not having trouble staying in the saddle or anything like that. And you got walking at a nice pace. And Frank says, well, let's try these over to Maker's Mark, and I'll have Peter come with us, and he can watch the horses while we go take a tour. Now, why don't we speed up a little bit? It's a little chilly out here.
Speed up.
And Victoria kind of tells you a little bit more, trying to coach you through it. Roll a reason check. For how good you're taking in the direction.
Yeah. No. Ralph's panicking. He's feeling really stressed. He's really high off the ground, which is like ridiculous because he can like take bullets. But he's like looking at the ground. He's like, okay, babe. Okay, huh?
I mean, Ralph
What?
probably isn't too concerned about being high off the ground because he's wide, but he's like super gentle with the horse because he's like, you just realize he's sitting on the back of an animal that if he sneezes, could kill it.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
It's like a.
I think like the motion is weird for him too. Yeah. 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 He's uncomfortable.
So, having done that, you try to speed up, but you kick the horse a little too hard, and it bolts. And you just like dart past everybody else and start leaving them behind. For further, a little bit more comedy hijinks occur along the way.
Yeah.
At one point, you ride up next to 210, you see the little glimmer of his visor, as it like the camouflage, like
Yeah.
the camouflage is visible for a second.
Yeah.
You have the you have the chance to taunt him by tapping it or pressing the button if you want.
Yeah. No. Yeah, Ralph. I think you got a bug there. I think you got a bug there, buddy. And like swat at it. Not like hitting it, but like waving his face like he's trying to harass him.
As you like do it, he like leans way over and he's like dodging you, like you're like a little bit overly dramatic, and
Yeah.
you
I think like I overbalance in the saddle a little bit. I'm like, oh jeez.
Ralph has found out that the best point at this point to do is just to hover right above the horse and not touch it, and then just
Yeah.
the range, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it just trots along at a good pace without you even doing
Yeah.
anything.
Totally. That's his trick. Yep. He's like doesn't actually have to like sit on it. It'll just like kind of tug a little bit. Oh, you know what? He can speak horse. He learned it when that trailer crashed and the horses were like freaking out in the park in Dublin, and he can speak horse. I think that he's forgot that. I think that he's forgot it until like the horse. He hears it like muttering to itself, like this stupid ass person, like doesn't know what he's doing or something. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I can speak horse." And so, like when no one's like, kind of like go off the side and kind of like whisper to it and stuff, like, "Hey, listen, sorry, I really don't know what I'm doing here. Just get me to the maker's mark, and I'll give you an apple."
Roll linguistics. But I'll give you +3 CS on this one.
This has not come up in a while.
Yeah, I remember.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a while back. Okay, so it's normally amazing. So we're on monstrous. Okay. Ooh, baby.
At you, and they're like, "You can talk."
Yeah,
Oh,
my name's Ralph.
my name's Gary. They call me something stupid. But I think I'm Gary.
Yeah.
And he says, "Okay, yeah, he's doing okay."
So imagine like Ralph and Gary like super hit it off. Like this is she realizes like this horse has like really good thoughts, some really good perspective on kind of the way the world's going.
Yeah, so you guys make it over there. You go through a tour. He gives you a personal tour. He gives you a bottle, and then he gives you like 2 more bottles.
Cool.
And he's like, "You know what? Actually, I'll just take those." And then he's like, "Let's give him a barrel."
Oh, what? Okay.
And then
He gives us a barrel.
out, and they set it in the back seat. They strap it in the seatbelt next to
Hysterical.
And he says, "You sure you don't want me to get my private jet and we can leave from the Lexington airport?" And he's like, "Look at the prices." Like, I fly to Chicago. We're back to your
Oh, thanks. But we're kind of making a family tour out of it.
Putin's like, yeah, that would be great. And Victoria goes, he's joking, Frank. We're gonna drive the rest of the way. I just got this car. I wanna break it in.
Ralph and Putin like look at each other. That.
And so yeah, you guys take off and hit up Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, you go to Advanced Prosthetics that Fuji was talking about. Which do you remember who that was?
Yeah, isn't that Velocity Beam?
Was wasn't velocity beam. It was.
Oh no, it was the not Gamma. What's his name? Um,
It was Gamma. No, Gamma. Yeah, it was Gamma. It was Daryl Thornton.
is it Gamma?
Yeah,
Yeah. Daryl Thornton. Yeah,
that's it.
right. Is let me just fact check.
Yeah,
Gamma.
Gamma Daryl Thornton. And that's
Cool.
right. And he is a ingenious inventor with a power suit of armor that is defending in Cincinnati. And you guys are talking there. They discuss how their business is booming. They're still in tough competition with Zeta Technologies,
Right.
and things have really turned around after there were some issues when the Superhero Registration Act was still in process. Because
Yeah, and Ralph will actually like kind of like learn a little bit about the history because that was not during like when Doctor Doom took over and Cincinnati was like a hotbed for some like gang activity and
Yep. And he tells you that they've lost the military contract with Zeta Technologies for prosthetic limbs for veterans. And that happened.
hmm.
Now they got it back. And they just kind of compare notes. You actually get in and meet Daryl, who works in that office, and it's I don't know. It's kind of odd for you and Victoria.
Yeah, I'm kind of like how did Putin like know these guys and get in here?
You find out they've been like email buddies. Uh, they've been and they've been in. Putin gave a talk at a conference, and Daryl asked him some questions afterwards. Putin actually got one of his PhDs from Stanford, where Daryl's an alumni.
Okay, yeah,
And
that's funny.
Daryl donates money to the Cork Academy. But then
Yeah,
it's a very similar experience to what you just had with Victoria, where you want like Putin is very in his element, and everybody else is just kind of a follower at this point. Except for unlike that one, most of this time you're spent in like a big room with a bunch of people in like lab coats. Daryl, who's like wearing a suit and a tie, and Putin, who's wearing a pair of tennis shoes and like Chuck Taylors.
yeah, yeah.
That you bought at one point because one of his shoes he was trying to he had taken off his shoes at one point while you guys were driving and started to take a nap, and then he put one of his feet on the window and the shoe flew out the window. He was getting around a turn like a
Yeah,
50
it just
mile
like
per
blew
hour
the shoe out.
at like 80.
Yeah, yeah,
So, those two are there talking. There's a bunch of scientists walking around. Sometimes they come over and they ask something to Daryl and Putin, or Daryl answers them. And
yeah.
then you see him like fabricating like machine parts, and then you see one person like putting like this robotic arm on their body over top of their own arm. They test the motion and the fingers. They all move,
Right.
and then they like try to fold over a finger and like tap it a couple times, and the finger folds over, and then they point it out the wall, and like laser beams shoot out of the finger, and they carve like
Oh,
out of the wall of the steel plate, and then Daryl comes over and he shakes his head and says, "This is trash."
what?
You have to do
What?
things.
So like Ralph asked him, he's like, so this isn't just like purely medical. Like, is there defense applications to these? Are you guys like working on?
I don't know. This is a mining laser.
Oh, okay. And then Ralph will
Watch, says Ethan, as he points the laser and he goes like this and he just turns it right at you. And he presses the button and the beam comes out, and as it's about to swipe into you, it cuts itself off.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, and then Ralph will talk about, has there been any issues with with criminals like repurposing their technology and using it to commit crimes, and he talks about how that was a problem that they dealt with over in Ireland.
Daryl looks around and he's like, he looks at Putin. Putin like looks up at him, looks over at you, Ralph, like, and
Like, like
Daryl
Ixnay,
says, well, since you're with Putin, let's see, I don't really like to talk about this. There's a lot of liability issues, and sometimes these kind of thefts happen. I don't really want to discuss the details of it. I know, Mr. Containe, you're a celebrated hero in your own right, but
hey, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. I was just wondering.
Also that when people operate as a superhero, by the way, he has a secret identity. So this is Daryl.
Oh yes, right. So people don't know that he's Gamma.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And he says, although you have a secret identity, I'm also aware that superheroes are the ones that are probably the most likely to be stalked and spied on by the very likely people that would consider doing this. Could they be used as weapons? Yes. But we have a lot of safeguards in place for that. And I can't go into anything. Now,
This is impressive,
if you'd like to
Mister.
I mean, you probably know a little bit about this stuff yourself. I've seen your wristwatch, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll show off. He'll show off Evie.
A wristwatch. Just out loud.
Sir, I'd like to introduce, and Ralph will like introduce Evie, and you'll say, kind of like she's kind of sensitive about the wristwatch thing. Even the Swiss ones, she's still
Yeah, and she's like, I
doesn't like being compared.
than that. You think I'm calling your evil attempts at creating an appendage trash? But that just because all they do is deserve to be in a dumpster, that doesn't mean that you gotta go around trying to call them that.
Yeah, Ralph will wait for Mr. Thornton to apologize to Evie. And then he's like cracking up at it, and you'll ask him like, okay, what's their big push next? What are they looking at moving into going forward?
It's prosthetics. They mostly make prosthetics. They're trying to make them super lightweight, as light or lighter than a limb, but with the functions similar to a limb. One of the hands they've made, because they're all on the wrist, get them out this thing. You can lift it up. You have no sense of weight.
Yeah.
You can barely tell the difference in weight and stuff.
Is that a problem though? Like not being able to know the difference between like.
It's a little bit of a problem for Ralph, but it's not. I mean, he's got a lot of practice. So just because a table and a pin weighs the same for Ralph almost.
Yeah. Right.
It's not like it's shattered.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I want to make sure I'm not like.
He has a really delicate sense of that weight, but still, you can't really guess how much this weighs compared to like what a limb would weigh. Although like a normal person can really do that, but your sense of that this being very light and comfortably light is yes, but you could have a prosthetic limb that weighs 400 pounds and not have an issue.
Not an issue, right? What's how do they get the arm like the
adamantium gauntlets that you had probably weighed.
Oh yeah.
It was probably weighed like 150 pounds.
Yeah. And then like the chest plate and the helmet and everything. Yeah, they were probably super heavy. How do they get the prosthetics to communicate with like the minds to? Oh, do these articulate and stuff?
Yep.
Are these like Bucky Barnes kind of arms? So how do that kind of technology is?
They're not as advanced as Bucky. That's like a super arm.
Yeah, Wakanda.
But they're trying to make something mass producible. It's not Wakanda. It's Soviet stuff.
Oh, is the Wakanda thing? Is that only in the Marvel TV show stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I mean, they make stuff that articulates based on nerve synapses in the real world. So
Okay.
kind of the same.
So that's similar concepts.
Yeah. So I mean, they've got it down. Putin's pretty impressed by the way. They're just trying to make something that's really light because a lot of people have issues with weight of the advanced prosthetic limbs. You know. He's like, the advances in battery technology have really made a big difference in making this an achievable goal. And, you know, he goes into the different materials held in the battery and how the different electrical capacities and how long the charge can be held and the efficiency rates for everything. Back and forth. And
Yeah.
it devolves, it moves away from the conversation into this tiny details, and they like start talking about like programming the chips or and how they're laying stuff out to increase efficiency and everything. And Putin like points some stuff out, and Thornton, and then like after a little while, like about an hour, you guys go out and go. Victoria says, "Hey, let's go get lunch while he's doing this. He seems to have a great time."
Yeah.
And so the two of you leave, you hit up a diner nearby, there's an old man there, kind of just George. One dude, like, you didn't see him outside, but he walks in, he's got like the remnants of a blue hoodie just kind of stuffed back down into his coat. And he's a little out of breath, it's like he just ran into the room. And he orders some food, he talks to the waitress, and then, makes his way out after eating really quickly. You two eat, have a great time, and make your way back, and Futin's there, he's working on that force field cube or whatever it was, and Thornton's talking to him about, he's like, hey, maybe you could do this here and this, and they're just kind of bouncing ideas back and forth for a bit. And when they see you come in, Putin grabs it, pockets it. You can see that, literally when he slides it into his pocket, he collapses it, and it slides into his pocket.
Just flattens?
No, it goes, he almost crushes it, and it becomes this big of a piece instead of a this big of a piece.
Okay, so just compresses. Alright.
Yeah. And you guys head out.
Okay. Yeah, and Ralph will just, ask Putin if that was, he had a good time with that, he enjoyed it.
He smiles at you, and he says, I did, Ralph. That was great. Thanks for stopping.
Yeah, no problem, man. If there's anything else that you want to see while we're going, what I'd really like is for this whole trip is just to be us getting to see and do stuff together.
It's pretty late at this point. It's nighttime. And Victoria is out in the car, and you guys walk out, and she says, she looks over at the clock on the
Chicago is only 5 hours away.
Yeah, you can make it to Chicago in 4 hours and stuff.
Ralph looks at Futin. Honey, as great as that sounds, I'm not tired. Let's just get a place for the night. I heard there's a really cool hotel right along the river. Let's check that out. Oh, that's a good question.
I think a lot of the time Ralph forgets that Victoria is an heiress.
Super wealthy. No, he's a Best Western kind of guy, right? He's they got a good breakfast. They're reliable. They're in every state. People are nice. Clean rooms. Yeah. 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 Definitely. I mean, Ralph has. Doesn't he get some kind of hero stipend or something too? Isn't he a reserve Avenger?
He's a reserve EDI member. European
Yeah.
Initiative.
Yeah, I guess we need to talk about. We have to figure out because he doesn't
He
have
doesn't get that
his.
much for
Well,
being a reservist. I mean, he gets a lot
no,
from
he's got
us.
his rental prop. He's got his rental properties that he does.
Yeah, he still owns the properties. He just doesn't bring in any. He doesn't do the investigative work anymore.
Right. That
That
they
he
they
owns.
kind of forced him out.
Yeah, he owns like 2 buildings in Dublin though, which brings him in. You know,
Um,
a
he's not.
stupid amount of money, like fifty $50,000 a month.
Is it really that much?
Man, that might be too little.
Yeah, you think so? Well, yeah, because Dublin's really picked up too, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's like, well, no, it's, I mean, that's $1,000 a month for the rental, so that's not that much. But yeah, like, I mean, there's probably more than that. He's probably making like and it's probably at least 25 to 50 rooms per building. I think he has 2 buildings, right? Or
Yeah.
is it one?
No, well, unless he made an acquisition, we haven't talked about that. I think he only owns the one.
Yeah, so he owns one. We'll say 50 rooms, 50 apartments.
Like,
Because it was a
yeah,
multi-story building. It's like 4-story.
yeah. No, it was a huge building. It was a hobgoblin. It was like a hobgoblin building,
Yeah,
and
so
then,
you got like 50 apartments in
and
there.
I think that there's. I don't even think it's just apartments. I think
Yeah,
that
some
like on
of them
some
are
levels, it's like
businesses. On office.
businesses and stuff. Yeah, like
He
office
makes,
space.
like I said, he makes at least 50,000 US dollars a
Yeah.
month. Plus, he
Okay.
gets probably 30,000 US dollars a year for being a reserve. You know?
EDI member.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money. They don't.
It's like literally just to like cover expenses and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot of money for not very much. You know, you get called to active duty maybe once a year, but
Yeah.
it's super dangerous active duty.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like I said, it's not very much. Those jobs are almost volunteer, but the main members get probably like $1 million a year. Which
They
is
should.
still
They absolutely should.
for what they probably do. Your mic went out. You moved the mic and it just cut right out.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. Weird. Um, yeah, I think if the heroes are, you're putting your life on the line, you shouldn't have to worry about your bills. I mean, unless you're Peter Parker. Sucks to be Peter Parker.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're also living inside the EDI building.
Yeah. So okay, so like Ralph has the money. No, I think it's just like habit. You know, he's just like that's just what he's used to. Like Ralph. I mean, I think he like dresses nice and stuff, but he's not. He's got that kind of like small town America mindset about money and whatever. He puts a lot into like his private 401k or his private IRA account. Um,
You probably still keep money in a savings account, even though they don't have
yeah,
a real return rate anymore.
yeah. No, he's like putting it away. He's like, you know, Victoria, when you and I buy a house, like I want to have a really good, I want to have a good amount for a down payment. You know, that's how keep that mortgage payment low. Yeah, I think
And
he's
Victoria used to like argue with him about this, like we don't need to do it, but like he would like forget that conversation, or like he would agree with
yeah.
her and be like, oh yeah, that's right, and then continue to do the same thing that it's a habit for him.
Yeah, no, he's got it set up on automatic withdrawal with Evie. She just like pulls it out.
And she just does lets it go, you know.
It isn't. Aren't the stars worth? Aren't they millionaires? Isn't her dad like an oil tycoon?
Yeah. They're not millionaires. Like they're probably on the low end of the richest people in the United States.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So billionaires.
Yeah.
Because I think Donald. I think the last like the Fortune 400. I think Donald Trump was like he was the last.
What did you say?
I'm sure he didn't like that. I'm sure he was a little sour about that.
Was the
Okay.
last of the Fortune 500 richest people?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he was
they're
the
not that
biggest.
low. They're not that low.
Okay.
They're like, they're like, they were former like Remington Star. He's her father. Is
What a great name.
formerly Remington Starwood, but they changed their last name.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, to Star.
That
Anyway,
makes sense.
that's why she's Victoria. Anyway, so the Remington Star was like the founder of like a Roxxon, Marathon, British Petroleum level oil company.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, and that company is still active and doing stuff, but it's now Star
Like,
Energy.
really, the industries or something like
Well,
that? Energy?
it's energy, and it is like the owner of like not only still a good amount of oil production and stuff, but like a lot of 90% of the Texas uh, wind wind
Yeah.
generators and a good number of like solar generation in the Midwest and uh, Mountain West of the U.S.
Okay. So these guys are literally, like, fabulously wealthy.
Yeah, like
Has has
go
Ralph met
go into
Remington?
the like go into a dealership as the daughter, buy a
Star car.
$600,000 car in cash for
Yeah.
drive across
Okay.
the country. Wealthy.
Okay. Has Rolf gotten to meet Remington yet? I mean, I guess he was probably at the wedding, right? But
Yes, he was at the
doesn't
wedding.
he?
He uh, was
I thought
not.
that he and Victoria kind of have a strained relationship, don't they?
No, he has done. Victoria's his baby. Victoria
Oh,
is
okay.
Victoria. He's done lit. He's entirely in support of whatever Victoria does. He trained her through the rodeo. She got interested in guns. He got her marksman
The
coaches.
star, the star. Did he help like
Had
invent the star
yeah,
shooters?
had his scientists invent the star guns. Had his scientists invent
Okay.
the stabilizer boots so she could team up with them. Got her all the training that she needed to be a shield agent. Hosted
Okay.
races in Texas so that she could race even when she was an amateur.
Okay. Oh, and then I guess like the car, probably like the supercar, the
No,
flying convertible.
no, that was after she started at Shield. She got the Shield tech.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but Victoria is she may be an only child actually.
It makes sense. I bet you that she is. And I like the dichotomy. Like Ralph is like one of like a ton of kids, and then she's like a single. She's like a single
Yeah. Uh, yeah. We're gonna go stick with that. She is a single child.
kid.
And
Shenanigans when they all get together.
yeah, he also had to.
Yeah, I think she should probably be single.
He
Single.
also
In fact, I think that she is.
he
I think
also
I
had
read
the
that on
special
on
bullets.
the Marvel wiki. I
The
think that
special
she's
bullets that she fired from those. So he's been entirely
at the knockout one.
she wanted to
But
do.
now, is her mom? Did her mom die? Okay.
Sickness.
Okay.
Um, when
Yeah.
Victoria wasn't a
Okay. So I imagine then that he probably became like even more kind of like devoted to Victoria.
Yeah,
The
he
mom
was
died.
very a devoted father and husband. Not so much father. He was a doting father. He didn't give Victoria very much structure or discipline after her mother died, but she was already a teacher at that age.
Okay.
So. Anyways,
And I don't feel like Victoria was like the kind of person who sort of like went off the rails. She seems like she's pretty level headed. Okay. Okay, that's some good backstory. All right.
um,
So I think that, yeah, like a Best Western. I mean, if they get tired and they wanna like check out the Ritz or something. I mean, they can afford it. But Ralph is just like, and I think he's like a planner too. You know, he's like tried to like map out hotels like as they've gone along. Like, okay, there's a Best Western here. It'll take us this amount of time to get here, so we can do that. But that's what I think he's like looking for. He's like, all right, if you pull up the Best Western on there, and if people don't like voice a complaint,
I've got points. I can say.
yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, but I will say this: you did meet Remington at her wedding. Remington was not a huge fan of Ralph Containe. I would probably say, like, probably one of the few instances where Victoria had assumed he would just be happy about whatever she did, and then it turned
And
out
wasn't.
it wasn't. He's like, he lives where? In Dublin? And, well, he can ride, right? No?
Huh.
Is he meeting with a rodeo? No. Is he...
Does he come for money?
Does he have...
What?
Yeah, is he well off? Or is he... no, he's really poor, actually, right now. Barely has a cent to his name. Maybe once the investigations on his building wear off, now that they've been under investigation for criminal enterprises.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
at least he's dependable, right? Well, he's dead for a couple years.
Yeah. Well, he had some commitment issues with me for a while there, but got through that. Oh yeah, I'm sure it wasn't good. I'm sure it was like a very kind of like frosty. Well, hello there, Ralph. You know, kind of handshake, Mister Star. I'm sure like when Ralph like asked him, because Ralph would have done it. Ralph would have done like the old traditional, "Hey, can I have your daughter's hand in marriage?" kind of thing. I'm sure it was like kind of awkward.
I did not think that will probably come up. I would probably say you got a no.
And then he just like went, yeah. He's like, okay, well, it's still happening, and that was kind of a sore point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Ralph wasn't expecting that. He was like, "No," as in like, "No, you don't want me to marry your daughter." Yes, exactly.
Flashback.
Oh. Well. Yeah, sure was a really ugly.
This is your thoughts as you lay there in bed at the Best Western in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You're flashing back to the wedding.
Why am I thinking about Remington?
You're like she wanted like a very I think Victoria probably had like probably like a barn wedding. Maybe. You think so? Or was it probably no, it's probably a barn wedding. She's pretty casual. I can't hear you talking. Your mic's missing. But probably a barn wedding. We're gonna stick with that one. Cowboy boots.
Kind of thing? Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can hear you now.
Okay.
And
All right. There's a special cone of vision that I just have to hit.
So I think you've you're having like these flashbacks to this.
Yeah, these like those like uncomfortable, like awkward moments that you come on your brain in the middle of the night. He's like, he like says, he's like, "Hey, Victoria, are you okay? Are you all right if your dad doesn't really like me? Is that okay?"
She looks
It
up.
just
She like rolls over to you in the middle of the night because you need all out asleep with her, and she looks
Yeah.
at you and she says, "Honey, it's fine. Dad will get over it. It's only been 2 years." And she falls back to sleep.
yeah, I guess it has.
And she like, and you're like, you can have to ask her. She's like, "Yeah, he's probably fine with it by now."
Okay.
I'm not,
Thanks, honey.
I'm not too worried about him. He's such a lovable guy. You know, he's always taken such great care of me.
Yeah.
Did I tell you?
And Ralph will just like sit there with like his hands on his chest, like thinking, like looking up, like thinking about it. It's like, do we have to
Did I
call
tell
one
you
of the
we bought
kids
me our
Remington?
first rally car?
Yeah. Ralph's like not a car guy
She tells you
either.
some like yeah yeah. She tells you yeah. Ralph's a public transport guy. She tells you some
Yeah.
stories about her dad, like you know, taking her hunting for boars that were like eating the.
Oh no, I bet they were like, yeah, totally, like Alaska, like grizzly hunting and stuff. I'm sure.
I don't know about that. Maybe, but
You would think he was like a big game hunter,
no.
like took her down this savage world,
He was a business
hunt
guy.
dinosaurs.
He was more practical than that. But shooting like taking care of the boars and then
Okay.
and that were really destructive on their land was probably like a big part of it and stuff like that. And she was
Yeah.
really telling, you know, because he
Yeah.
managed the ranch for fun for himself. And
Yeah. Yeah.
So but he tried to take part in a lot of that, and like she tells you some stories about that and stuff like that. They didn't leave Texas a lot, and well, sometimes they did, I suppose. But he was pretty into his business at that time. Now he's retired, and she's you know she's a daddy's girl through and
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, super close with dad, and so Ralph's kind of just kind of awkward. He's like,
like you talk to your parents. We've actually had role play conversations where Ralph talks to his parents, but she
Yeah.
like calls him like every other week.
yeah,
And like schedules it into her time, like 2 hour walk, talk with dad. And she said, like, when you came back and told her that, like, hey, your dad said no, she looked like she was just appalled, and she's like, he said what to you?
yeah,
And,
he just wasn't a fan.
well, and it was like that was like almost like she didn't know what to do at that point. Like
Yeah,
she was like
he wasn't used to like her and dad not being on the same page.
yeah, she's like we can't get married till he says yes.
What do you want me to do?
And so
Like,
and then and that came up in the next conversation, and later that day you got a call from Remington Star, and he was like, it's fine, it's fine.
okay,
That
thank
was
you,
the whole
Mr. Star.
conversation.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's like kind of awkward. He's not sure to call him Remington, Mr. Star. He doesn't feel comfortable calling him Dad. You know, it's just kind of awkward. That's funny. Yeah, Ralph eventually kind of like drifts off to slightly troubled sleep, thinking about in-law issues.
Right. And from there, you guys hit the road. As you
Yeah.
are passing around the edge of Indianapolis, Evie chimes in, and you guys pull up on the radio. Conversation of what's been like the talk of what's been happening in DC. The protests are getting out of hand. There is they're breaking hours, going longer than they're set, and occupying spaces that they don't have permits for.
Yeah,
And it's just starting to get kind of worked up. Tensions are getting high. The Capitol Police Force is on high alert. No news of the Red Skull or Captain America. And that's kind of the situation.
yeah, that's like the gist of it.
Tensions are rising.
And Ralph will like type into Evie, like he won't say it out loud, but he'll type in and be like, "Keep me posted." But hey, let's not broadcast this, you know, for the rest of the fam. I just want them to, you know, be able to enjoy the trip.
Yeah. You can't really avoid it.
So I guess if they turn on the news anywhere, it's going to be there. But I guess
she's like, yeah, you're good. Okay, got it, Ralph.
thanks, Evie. I imagine that like Ralph and I think they have to have like some kind of road game. Like they're like trying to like spot license plates. You know, like work their way through all the 50 states and like counting license plates. And Ralph will talk about how like his family made a big road trip across the country and they got almost all the states. But he's like, I was really missing Connecticut. That one was really hard. I should have looked for it when we were in Boston. I didn't even think about it. And I'm trying to think of because me and my siblings, and then like Hawaii. Hawaii is like a tricky one. He's like, I got in Alaska. We got in Alaska. Some guy was down. You know, we were pulling out of John Day, and some guy had it. Like, oh, very. We expected it was gonna be really easy, but
I saw
Connecticut.
Alaska on 32.
Really?
Yeah, I passed them.
That's kind of cool. Huh?
Yeah, I've only seen a few Alaska license plates.
Was it the one that has like the Big Dipper in it? It's like
No, it's like a blue
Oh,
one
it's
with the
black.
forests. I think.
okay. I see a lot of different states down here. I think I've seen.
It's not important.
Yeah.
It's kind
I
of
think
interesting
so.
to see a lot. I mean, we saw, yeah. I'm sure you see a lot of vehicles up there. So.
Yeah, they're kind of from all over. Well, whatever. So Ralph, I imagine that they're like trying to like keep track of license plates.
Yeah. So, as Evie does that, she says, okay, and then, you hear, Evie says, Ralph, other news, do you want me to, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, just ping it to me first, and Ralph will take a look at
It
it.
just shows up as text on her screen.
Mm-hmm.
And, it is a mysterious individual, assaulting, vehicles on the outer belt around Indianapolis, which you guys are about to exit right
Okay. Hey, dude, this one's worth everyone seeing. And he'll have like Evie like chime it out to everyone and be like, "Guys, it looks like we got some carjackers on the road here coming up ahead." I think this might be something that we take a minute to deal with, especially because we're going to be going head into it.
now. Okay.
Susan,
as you're
do you have a
like,
suit that you
everyone's
can
like,
fly?
here's that. Putin like presses it, like looks up and he goes, Ralph actually, it's a little bit bigger than that, and he leans forward and he shows you his, like a tablet. And Victoria takes her eyes off the road at 100 miles per hour to look at it.
Babe.
As she like passes.
Ralph like pulls out like one of his like shadow tendrils to like kind of like adjust the steering wheel. No, I guess she's got both hands on, so that'd be really dangerous. Yeah, that'd be really dangerous.
She looks over at it, and you see a gigantic orange creature, no eyes, massive maw that extends down forward, and these giant claws claw its way up out of the surface, and it lets out this enormous growl, and then it grabs one of the vehicles nearby and shakes it and rips the top off of it, and the people scream, and it just kind of drops it back on the ground. Wheels up, and then it reaches for another one. And then from the hole, up all around it, yellow people-like things burst out. And there's like thousands of them. They pour out in an enormous army of them. And then another hole emerges, and this is like 5 minutes ago. And then like the thing, monsters
Breaking
in
news.
Indianapolis. And then there's a giant drill machine that burrows up from out of the surface, and then like mashes onto the surface,
Like,
and like
beats
almost
itself?
crushes some cars.
This is just like right in the middle of the interstate.
Yeah.
Evie, what are we looking at? What is this thing?
Evie is like, well, Ralph, and as she's about to say something, the banner changes at the bottom. It says, Mole Man attacks again.
Oh man, this jackass. All right, Suit up, everybody. Victoria, if you want to like slam this, no, never mind. Ralph doesn't say that. I don't know what I was thinking.
We still have
Yeah,
to
Ralph is gonna like
Ralph.
reach into the team bag and pull out his gear.
Ralph, switch me seats. You can put on your stuff with your shadow arms.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Lets you take the wheel with your shadow tendrils, and then like flips back, like drops the seat all the way and actively finds and rolls backwards.
I'm just looking up a picture of Mole Man. He is so silly. He looks great. Is he a Spider-Man villain?
No.
Okay. He's got to be like a really early Fantastic Four villain, right?
One of the very first things that ever appeared.
That's awesome. And then I guess we'll see. We'll see if he looks like, if he's got like the little like green robe with the stick and the glasses. Yeah, I love this guy. Wait, isn't the monster on the cover of the first Fantastic Four? Is that one of his monsters?
Yeah.
The big green blob thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's great. Okay.
I didn't have a shooting star thing.
Really? But you know what? No, that makes sense. We haven't actually played with her. Oh, man. And Loken.
What?
That big giant guy? That's cool looking. You'll have to give me control of Ralph when you get a chance.
Maybe you can control all of them. And the car.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, let me know when that comes up. That seems pretty neat. Give me a second. I'm gonna grab some water. Jake, I'm back.
Hey,
Sorry. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Let's see.
it took me a little bit to get.
Oh my
I had the
gosh.
extra time to pick out a vehicle to be the moment.
Oh, that's so cool looking. So are these his creatures?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a picture of them? Wait, isn't Mole Man? Doesn't he like live in like the Kaiju Islands, like north of Japan?
Lives under the earth. He's a moment.
Yeah, but I thought isn't there like
Isn't there
that he like subterranean kind of place?
yeah, except for
That's what it's called.
Superhereoes.
Okay.
But there is an island that sits under.
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
don't think
Yeah.
it's the Kaiju Island. Yep.
No?
Yeah, I don't think it
Okay.
is. Alright. Why can't I have this?
And what's Mole Man's MO? Is it just he's bitter about the surface world and believes that those under it should rule those above it?
Yeah. It's the classic subterranean villain, archetype. Back
Yeah.
before it was like a classic archetype.
Yeah. Okay. That's him.
See him?
Is that like one of his mud monster men?
What do you mean?
Is this what the yellow guys look like?
Those are mole ones. And that's what all this
Mole. Awesome. But then the big thing though, you said it's like some like crazy looking monster, right?
Yeah. He usually has giant well, not always, but often has giant monsters. He also does sometimes super technology plots. Where he gets that from,
Okay.
nobody knows since
It's the Earth, man.
yeah.
You don't need a reason. Cool looking spaceship drill that you gave him. I like that.
That was just a thing that Alright.
All right.
So
has he made like any
as you
declaration?
guys fly around the corner, while you're driving as fast as you can, you realize this pattern of destruction led into they're near
No.
what's the name of that stadium? Lucas Oil Stadium,
Yeah.
where the Colts play.
Yeah. Yeah.
The path of destruction is wide. Very few casualties. It seems as though they're almost for some reason. No one,
Okay.
There's a number of people injured, but as far as you can tell, casualty count is still zero.
Okay, that's good. So it's more property destruction than anything else.
Yeah.
They're not like actively trying to kill people.
Doesn't seem that way. But I'll be right
All
back.
right. That's good.
As you ride up, Shooting Stars put her boots on. Your boots have been adapted over time to give her a gliding effect. So if she's with you and you release her, she can glide down, they'll like slowly fall to the
Okay.
surface, and
Yeah.
they have been recalibrated to be able to walk on your shadow.
Oh, that's super awesome. Okay. Okay, so if I make like structures and stuff, she can like bounce between them.
Yes.
Oh, that's super cool. Okay, we can do some like tag team kind of stuff. I like it.
You guys go first.
Okay. Has the mole man made any like declarations?
Well, as you drive up and leap out, costumed up, he says, he shouts out, "Ah, costume heroes! Here to foil my plans again, but today you will fail against the mighty mole man."
Ralph like looks at the other two of them and is like, let's put this guy back in the ground where he belongs.
He says,
And
"You will fail, heroes! The might of Subterranea shall rule over the surface world, and to do that, we will have to capture a Dr. Frederick."
Dr. Fredrickson, huh? Okay. Ralph was gonna like type up on it. He's like, Evie, as we're taking these guys out, tell me who this Dr. Fredrickson is and where they might be going. Maybe we can head them off. Yeah, and so,
There's a lot
and
of
so-
Dr. Frederick, but I'll see if there's anyone that's going to be in Indianapolis with
all right. And I think my first order of business, Jake, is I'm gonna make a shadow duplicate of Ralph to like handle the mooks, to kind of like draw attention and focus from the mooks. How many doppelgangers can I make with my power?
How many
Just-
power cells?
I have 4. I have 4 power stuff.
No, how many checks do you have in that power cell?
I have 4.
4 checks in that power cell?
Yeah.
So 1.
Okay. And as I get more, can I do more? Or is it based on the rank of the power?
And once you have 10, we can talk about you being able to do more than 1. But until you have 10, it's a struggle to produce 1.
Okay. Now, with 4, I still have to roll for it, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll spend karma to bump this up as needed.
You need a
Be.
yellow at 4.
Okay. So 38. Alright, I'll have to spend 40 karma. No, 30 karma to generate 1. So I will do that.
You have an incredible shadow ring. Lord. I'm not here. Nor am I seeing your table movement.
Sorry about that. My computer just shut off for some reason. I'm booting it back up.
Oh.
Sorry. Watching the stream. Or
That sneeze will be for
It was not.
all posterity.
I
That's right.
sneezed off camera. And
Oh, yeah, okay.
so you roll a 38 on your shadow duplicate attempt. Now you are going to
And 40 karma.
which is going to be
Yep.
40 because you're actually a remarkable shadow manipulation. And
So now I've got a, yep. Only he's all at 30 for all of his
yeah,
stats.
for everyone. It has
120 health at least.
what?
Is it? Yeah, I guess it has what, like 120 health.
Yeah. But it has no powers.
No. No, it's just like a melee.
It can fly. And
Can it fly?
yeah, it's like the energy of
Okay.
But,
Okay.
so, yeah.
And that takes my whole. My 2 attacks. That takes all of them, right?
Yeah, just takes an attack.
Okay. Then I think for my other attack, What time of day is this?
11 a.m.
Okay. So I probably can't. I mean, and if these guys are mole men, they're probably used to seeing in the dark, anyways, aren't they? That would be my guess. So like making it darker around here. You know, Evie's, yeah. Does anybody know if mole men can see in the dark? I'm pretty sure they can. Yeah.
He says, yeah, Ralph, of course they can see in the dark. Fantastic Four has a profile on him. Do you really want to read that right now?
No, I just want to fight him. And so then,
don't do much right now.
so then what I'll do?
Look at them, and you look forward, and you see like a really scrawny child, basically, with a giant bulbous head. It has just these big like coverings over its player's side, shooting with little slits, and it's just kind of looking around, and it runs. It runs a little bit slower than a normal adult human would, and then it jumps on the person, elbows it as they're running away, which hits the mole man back onto the ground and laying on its back and touches hold of his face. Pops back up and 3 more of them charge after that guy.
Okay, so these things aren't super tough. All right, then Ralph will say, you, Nega Ralph, and you, Shooting Star, you guys want to be on crowd control and like take out the mooks, and Putin, you and I focus on trying to get a hold of Mole Man. We can fight the big guy, but I think he's probably controlling him, so it makes sense to take out Mole Man and have him call off the giant.
Rob, there isn't really a lot of time to have this kind of conversation, but you're the fastest, so
go. And then for my other attack, just to set it up, I'll project like shadow stuff all the way around here for Victoria to like be bouncing from.
Okay. It's not like she bounces off of it. You can like walk on your otherwise insubstantial shadows.
Okay. What I'm thinking now that I do is I like wherever there's shadows from the buildings and stuff, I kind of like manipulate those to make like platforms and stuff so that she can have leverage like up above the mole man and be shooting down on.
Like a line this way?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yep. There you go.
There you go. Nice little wall. Okay, anything else? You want more?
I think that's all I can do.
Or something?
Maybe make another one like over here.
Okay.
You know, just like so she can like bounce between them.
She can't jump that far, but yeah.
She can't jump across an intersection with her super boots. There you go.
No, she can't. She's a normal human. There you go.
Is the music playing?
Yep.
Okay, I can't hear that. Oh well.
Alright, well, direct switch in. What's Nega Ralph gonna do?
Yeah, so Ralph too, he's gonna like leap into these mooks like after the ones that were chasing after that guy, and his goal, what I've told him is he just takes out as many of these guys as he can, like flipping across the battlefield.
Alright, he just jumps in there, he goes boom, boom, and as he decks one, it just crashes into the building, drops unconscious, he turns, uppercuts another one in the chest, he goes, ah, and flies backwards, hits a trash can, tumbles over, he jumps up and like roundhouse kicks another one, and then like 100 more pop out of the ground.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. That's exactly what we're be doing. Just be taking guys out.
You're stemming the tide.
Perfect.
What do you want Sutin and Shooting Star to do? You're in command of everybody.
Oh, okay. I think that Shooting Star has like she can make like blasts with their guns that are like
No, they're
flashbang,
like
right?
boom, boom, boom.
Okay, she doesn't have like flashbangs or
She's got
anything.
ones that are like bludgeoning and ones that are like capture nets, the line of
Net kind of stuff. Okay. Okay. Well, I think yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is have Shooting Star and Futen focus on Mole Man and try and capture him. And then I'm going to distract the big giant monster and try and keep that thing from tearing up people. So yeah, I think that Shooting Star should assault the Mole Man first.
Alright.
You want me to roll for?
No, I got it.
Okay.
So as they run forward, Shooting Star draws her gun. She shoots at some moloids as she's running up. It takes them down, and they start to swarm all around her. Some of them were trying to climb up the shadow pillars, but they just fall on top of each other. And then they start to build up like a pyramid, and like some of them are lifting up the other ones as they try to reach up to her. And he's standing on top of her and he aims at the mole man, who is standing on top of the giant drill. He sees her aim, and he falls backwards into the sea. And he says, "My moloids, defend me! Get the suburbs who seek to steal us from our rightful place as rulers of this world."
Yeah.
And he enters the vehicle. Futen, meanwhile, leaps up, runs across the building, jumps over, shoots two giant blasts that just like detonate the area, throwing the moloids away, and they kind of just smashing against the wall, something unconscious in piles. It lands in the middle of it and rushes up to the side of it, draws the sword and slashes against the exterior of the drill, and it just leaves a shallow nick. He looks at it, the cut, and a bit surprised.
Whoa, that thing is a lot tougher than we thought it was gonna be. Okay. How big is the drill, Jake?
That thing. It's
Like weight wise.
as one of those more medium-sized buildings. Actually, this guy needs to be bigger. There we go.
Oh. Ooh. Okay. And this thing is still on track. It's like attacking. It's moving in some kind of purposeful direction, going after Dr. Fredrickson, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible for real Ralph, to pick up this thing? Or is it way too heavy?
What's his strength?
70.
It would be tough, but he might be able to. So, as you're talking about that, the moloids in this giant pyramid lunge up and they grab Shooting Star. Though she's able to like knock a few of them off, way stronger than them individually, the tsunami of moloids just grab her and start to pull her down. She's like submerged in the bodies of the moloids surprisingly quickly.
Yeah. Then Ralph is going to charge through the moloids.
Well, the moloids are still going. Okay. So
Oh, it's still a turn? Oh, okay.
Get
Okay.
a chance to see that and say anything. They lunge and they tackle at Nega Ralph, but they just kind of phase through his body since he's made of shadows. And,
Yeah.
And they shout. And then they also rush at Futen, but his electrified suit that shocks him and knocks him away.
Just
But
like
some of them lunge up and just smack him with surprising force in the back, and he's stumbling, getting like beat all around. But to what looks to be Mole Man turns his drill, and it points in the direction of Autopsy, and the front of the drill, like a hatch lifts up, and a little like spindly antenna of it pops out with like a bulb on the end, and it's got these like yellow circles around, and they glide up yellow, it was like really bright neon yellow, and then a giant blast shoots forward.
Okay, so it's like a laser arm.
It's like a laser beam.
Yeah. All right.
I think that's yellow.
Okay. Where's the? Do you want the room? Thank God, all of it.
Oh God.
It's a 64 on amazing. That's a yellow as well. By Mole Man, so I'm not exactly sure, but it's it.
It should be wrong. As soon as this is over, we're done.
Yeah. What the hell?
Alright, I moved the sheet behind me.
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Great.
Alright, so you got a yellow. As the beam strikes you, it does 30 points of damage. It dodge out of the way. It just disintegrates part of your clothing, and the heat, you can feel it. It's pure heat.
Okay.
As if you had dove into the core of the earth. And as it melts away some of your the suit, you can feel your flesh kind of burn. And, like, you get like some first degree burns.
Okay. So it's like bad sunburn kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, I think.
Minus your armor, and then if you would put it in iron.
Well, actually, body resistance will absorb that. It's right at 30. It's got wonderful body resistance.
Alright, so you actually, it just melts a little bit of your suit, but otherwise you take it off.
Yeah.
The mole man from inside you, he says, it's on with the sword, my monsters! And the giant monster over the side turns towards Putin, and you heard something. He said monsters, and you hear like as you hear that, you hear like he said, you hear so you feel like a ruffle. And the one turns to Futon and swings down with one of his giant fists. As this giant fist comes cratering down, just destroys that section of the road, bursting down into the sewers. Futon backflips out of the way, and catching himself on the wall. The mole lights are just thrown everywhere by the debris, and as they they just rain down from the sky, going shouting, like giving what Wilhelm screams as they fall. And Futon just kind of bounces off the wall and keeps his sword at the ready. It the monster missing it.
All right. I think it goes back to the top.
Yep.
Are the moloids supposed to be at the top?
No.
Okay. All right. So Shooting Star, she's buried under moloids. Too many moloids, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have Nega Ralph keep fighting, keep doing his thing. I like that. Ralph is going to form his shadows into almost like a plow, of sorts in front of him, and he's gonna fly into the mass of moloids, the pyramid of moloids, and parting them away, knocking them away with his wedge, and he's going to grab Victoria and pull her out. I guess would that be like a strength check?
I think it sounds kind of like a charge.
Yeah, it's like a charge, but I'm not charging, full power, can't stop to
I think you're trying to charge in and scoop her up as you fly by, right?
Yep, exactly.
I think that's a charge.
Okay. On.
Fighting.
I guess I use my or do I use my true flight for charges for damage? Okay. So fighting on spectacular. That's a green, actually.
Nice.
Just barely.
Since it's a green, that's everything you need. You come flying in there at a breakneck pace. Careful not to hit the top where shooting stars last hit. You hit the base, and it shatters the pyramid of moloids. They go scattering in like 1,000 directions. As you burst up and out of it, you hit the bottom, and then just boom, 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 boom. And as you're flying up through the mass of them, they're just like shooting off in random directions away from you. And you catch,
Yeah.
you see Victoria comes and you grab her like this, and like pull her out of the midst of it. And as you were flying, by the way, as you're flying in there, you see her like she's like shooting them all these directions just to try to keep them off of her. But they were like pulling out and punching her.
Yeah. I imagine like some of them are like 9 on her boot or whatever. Like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Alright, I'll say, I don't know if you heard that, but looks like we've got another one of the big guys showing up. I think that prioritizing getting Mole Man out of his drill is the best course of action. I'll set her. Yeah. Perfect. I'll set her on the building, and then I'm gonna like fly at the Mole Man's vehicle and try and like shove it into the big monster. You know, like knock its legs out from under it. All right. There we go. That's a yellow.
Right, the vehicle can't really dodge. It's just a vehicle, and it's huge. So as you go crashing into it, you hit it hard, and it's enough with your speed, so you weren't able to get full charge into it because of the way you had to move. You would have had to get a little bit more distance, I would say.
Yeah.
And but with your speed and your strength, you crash into it, and it kind of it gets like hit up in the air, and it flies like I don't know, the 30 feet necessary. But as it's about to hit the ground, it hits the side of the thing's leg instead. The thing, like lets out a roar. As it looks kind of like he kicked it a hard thing with its toe, sort of feeling.
Yeah.
But it was not. You did not like send it flying through the air enough force to hit that.
Yeah, sure. But Mole Man, but it didn't tip his drill over, did it?
No, you just kind of knocked it up in the air. I will say, however, when you hit it, it hurt. You hit something of a harder material strength than your own body armor, and at a high speed. Which this is almost never happened. It wasn't like environmental destruction,
right.
Like decorative effect. So you take 30 points of damage after armor.
Okay. Alright. We'll put it in iron will.
And you notice that you don't even dent
the ship. The ship, okay.
Which is important information because you definitely shifted your damage up one. And hit it hard.
So it means that I can't break into this thing with monstrous damage. I can't break into this thing.
Are you spectacular, normal, or sensational?
Spectacular. Okay. So this thing's tough. Well, and I'm pretty sure Futon's sword is unearthly material, isn't it?
It's higher.
It's higher.
Yes, it cut it.
Okay, so this thing's super tough. Alright, we'll have to figure. Yeah, alright, and then
It probably just doesn't have the strength and the thickness of the materials to fit for him to get through.
yeah.
Yeah, he'd have to find like a seam or a wedge or an access port or something, kind of wedge it in there. All right, and then what I'll do, and this will probably factor in my next turn, but I'll ask Evie, hey, do you have any ability to like try and overrun a mole man's controls and get us in there or shut down his drill?
It's like, I'm still working on Dr. Frederickson. What do you want?
Let's prioritize Mole Man. I mean, Fredrickson, they know where he's going already. They know where he's at, so let's prioritize Mole Man. We need to stop him. Oh, shoot.
From the ground, another gigantic monster busts out. They're behind you all. This three-headed snake creature emerges from the earth. As that happens, you hear this team of tires, and someone exits out of a garage on this side of the building and starts to drive away. And the mole man says, "Don't let Dr. Frederickson escape."
We found him. Evie, put a marker on his car so we can just track him. That shouldn't take too much of your CPU, right?
She can't like mark stuff on him, but she's like, "I'll keep the satellite. I'll keep an eye on him from the satellite."
Thanks.
All right. You're still holding the shooting star?
I set her down on a building.
Okay.
I set her down
You
here.
dropped her off as you're flying over the building. She comes floating down. I assume she's going to start shooting down into the cloud. She's changed her mind and took aim at the big monster.
Okay.
And like shooting it in the eyes and places, it seems to hurt it.
Yeah.
The thing doesn't seem to be particularly tough compared to its vehicle. An example.
Yeah.
It does take those blows pretty easily. But she keeps fighting it.
Alright.
Easily. Putin, you want to have him keep on after the vehicle or what?
Yeah, I think have him like try and find like a weak point in it, not just like slashing into the main thing. I mean, unless it's like a solid like mass cube or something. It's not a cube, obviously, but like there's no seams. But I feel like there's like an exit port or something that has to be a weaker spot than somewhere else. Even like where that laser pointed out of it and fired. And maybe he can like try and carve his way in from somewhere like that. I can't imagine that the entire thing is all made equally out of the same tough material.
He says, I can try. Ralph, why don't you keep an eye out and see if you can find anywhere I can get access? Maybe I can just shut the vehicle down.
Okay. Will do, buddy.
Alright, and you saw where Mole Man went into like the top, you know? And so he runs up, he jumps off of one of the treads, and leaps up on top of the vehicle, which Mole Man's turning around, and he says, "Get off! Get off!" As he turns and he plans to chase, have a giant drill chase after Dr. Frederickson in his car.
Yeah, Dr. Fredrickson. it is like Mazda.
Yeah, it is Mazda, exactly. It's a 2003.
Yeah.
So Putin goes like this, and, and as he stabs down at it, it starts to pierce through the glass, and then a force field pops up and it knocks him away. You see it's like an explosion off of Putin's suit as like an electrical surge goes through him, and he goes like careening backwards.
Okay. So that's like the observation glass for Mole Man?
Yes.
Okay. But was Putin able to damage that at all?
Yes, he was. His sword pretty easily cut through.
Okay. Okay. Then that sounds good. Then that's what Ralph's gonna focus on.
Well, there's
He's
some
gonna.
like I said, there seems to be some sort of electrical energy field around it now.
Oh, it's current. Okay, it's formed around it. All right.
Like as a defense mechanism, as an emergency mechanism.
Okay.
You could try to. I mean, Ralph could probably try to punch his way through it. You know what I mean? Just force himself through if he wants.
Yeah.
Or
I think that he should.
Futon has tossed out the other idea of finding him an access port, and he'll try to shut down the vehicle. So.
All right. Let's try that. Yeah.
Those
Let's
two,
do that.
Or you could fight everything. Which shooting star seems to be the plan of we're fighting everything until everything falls apart.
Yeah, I like that plan, but I'm thinking that we need to deal with Mole Man. That he's communicating with these monsters. So we gotta get in there. So yeah, actually, so what I'm gonna do is me and Evie together, we're gonna like search for like energy signals, like if there's like any kind of like outlet or something, like where energy might be, and like try and find an entryway that way. You know, if whether it be like a door panel or a power node or something like that, just kind of like searching the outside of the ship. I guess should I roll like?
No, it's like Evie can look through the NTO for an access panel to make a roll for some sort of wave control or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe computers also want to use it. That was what we all do. Or you
Okay.
could go intuition on your turn.
Okay.
It'll use an action to let you do it. If you fail, you can try again.
Okay.
That's your choice. Okay, the Moloids go. They see Futon there, and they tackle at him. And then he just like flings them off. He's super strong, by the way, if you remember.
Yeah,
and
right.
he can lift a ton right over his head.
Yeah,
as
at
he's,
least.
Like, so anyways, I just flinging off. Like they're like 20 of them dogpiling, and he just tosses them off like they were, I don't know, cotton, dumping on him, fleas. I don't know. So as he,
Ants.
then like like 200 of them come out of the big hole, by the way, which is still in the middle of your road as well.
Yeah.
But kind of in the middle intersection over here.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
And like 200 of them come out, and Futon sees that coming, and he's like, ah! And he's good. You see his hands light up, like he's about to blast him, and then and then he disappears under the Moloids.
Oh shoot, Lieutenant, are you okay?
Yeah, you say that. He's like, I'm fine. They can't even hurt me. And you hear, ding, ding, ding.
Boop, boop. Ah! They're like scrambling at him. Okay.
But then they disappear, and Futon, like, you see Futon appear for a second, and he's totally caught by surprise. It's a massive fist from the giant monster comes flying in at him.
You got this, Futon. You're agile.
No, like I said, he was totally blindsided by it. Well, he was totally blindsided by this, but he sees it coming, and he just goes, ah! And he just screams and falls backwards, and it just whisks over his nose. As he just drills through the building, the arm stretches out and comes out near where your guys' car is. And Victoria's like, the shooting star's like, no, my car! As it just like kind of whisks over the car too. And the monster just kind of takes a couple steps backwards. The other monster just comes barreling forward, and Victoria looks back at her car, and just kind of her shoulders drop as she runs off the side of the building and jumps and like does a front flip and like grabs hold of a flagpole and spins herself down, and because of that front part of that building's collapsing down.
Yeah.
At that point, the Mole Man has turned his vehicle around, and are you on that vehicle?
I'm like around it. I don't know if I'm actually on top. Like standing on it. How close do I have to be to it to be able to scan?
You'll have to do
Okay. Then I'm on top of it. Yeah, let's say I'm on top. As we're chasing after Fredrickson.
Yes. It's not that cool of a car, but that's
I dig it.
And he says, Dr. Fredrickson, come join me in the future that I shall create or be destroyed. As the front half of the mighty drill opens up. And the laser beam comes out.
Okay, we gotta stop that.
Fredrickson just slides the car to the side. He says, I give up, I give up, I don't want to give it and Mole Man says, wise choice, Doctor.
And so is this thing like opening up and it's just gonna like swallow his car?
No, actually, what you see is the laser beam retracts, and the drill, the open part of the drill just comes forward, and it is above Dr. Fredrickson, who has stepped out of his car.
Yeah. Well, Ralph is going to say like, Evie, keep doing that scanning, and he's gonna zip forward and scoop up Dr. Fredrickson, and be like, Doc, I appreciate the brave surrender. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I'll grab Dr. Fredrickson and be like, don't worry, Doc, not today.
Alright.
You don't have to go and live in a subterranean cave.
And Evie, roll for Evie.
Yeah. So it's off of her reason, but she has rank 4 in computer, so I guess it bumps it up by 4.
2.
By 2. So each rank
Every
bumps it up.
is the level.
Okay. So that will put her at incredible. Well, she should have higher computers than incredible, but
You can get away with a lot of it. Just like get away and like linguistics.
right. That's a white. Nothing this time.
Right. He doesn't have any karma either.
Okay. So she's still. It's all right. You keep working on it.
Alright. And you scoop up Dr. Fredrickson. He's in your hands.
Yeah.
You
And
control. Do you want to move somewhere?
yeah. I think we're gonna make a hard right and come around this way. Basically, my plan is to like keep Mole Man distracted and like letting Evie like get in there, or Futon get in and try and like hack him apart, his ship. And I'm just gonna like kind of do circles, trying to like keep the damage here in this area, but just kind of do circles with him like chasing after us.
Alright.
I imagine this is like a really awesome level. You know, like 2 giant monsters like scrambling around, Mole Man like freaking out, and then this guy and his giant drill just like tearing up the street, like screaming chasing after us.
Alright, Futon. A giant green energy blast emits from him, and the moment fly backwards that were all around him, and he looks at the giant one and turns and bolts after the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, he's smart. He doesn't want to deal with it.
Shooting Star is down on the ground, and she runs over to the other side and kind of jumps forward, grabbing hold of a window ledge, does some like parkour to make it up to the top, hits the building on the other side, and starts shooting at the giant one again, which is like got one of its eyes closed from where it's been shot so much, and it's like, "Rah!" And it turns its attention from Futon to her.
And what did you say it looks like? Is it like that big green blob off of the front of the Fantastic Four, only it's orange.
No, it's it's a orange skinned monster with spikes coming out of its arms, no eyes, and a gigantic ball-like mouth with like a bunch of really sharp teeth.
Okay. Does it look like it's
It
orange?
might actually have eyes. It has 6 dots on its head
Mm-hmm.
that
Like spidery eyes.
send you the link in the chat. Make sure to right click and open the new window.
Oh yeah. That's weird. It says load block. Oh, let me see it. You're right. Mole monsters.
That's pretty much all it is. Check.
That's right. Yeah, I'll look at that as far as I'm.
It has some gigantic claws to it, but it seems to be hunting.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay. That's funny enough. Okay. Moloids go. The Moloids chase after Futin. They've now started ignoring Mega Ralph, who just keeps running after them and just punches you in the back because they run away from it.
Yeah.
And they they just split up and start running in different directions.
Okay.
They're being ignored. The big monster charges and swings at Shooting Star. One of its punches come flying down. Shooting Star sees it coming and runs to the side. She flips over, doing one of those sideways cartwheel flips in the air, and then she's upside down. She just keeps shooting this thing, just boom, 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 helping it over and over. They both failed their agility checks, but that means the monster misses, and it just crashes into the building on the other side. And Shooting Charger starts. Runs onto the building on the other side, leaps down to where you can't see her, and hits into a rooftop garden, crashing through the branches, swinging down from him, and no, she's in the garden.
All right, keep up the work, babe. You're doing great.
The other monster sees you turning, doesn't actually see you turning the corner. Its heads are past it. But it then suddenly whips around and darts around the corner with surprising speed.
Oh shoot!
Confronting you, and it's all 3 of its heads lunge at you.
All right.
Roll 3 fighting attacks. One of these, 2 whites and a red.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so a white, a yellow, I'm not sure.
And a red. Fighting. Right? Can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you. Nope.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, white, yellow, red.
White, green, red.
White, green, red. All right. So dodge out of the way of the flash bite. As you see it coming, you jump off of its head. Dr. Fredrickson screams. The second one comes at you, and you hold Dr. Fredrickson up as it's just going to hit you straight on. And you pull him up out of the way as the mouth of it just engulfs you from just above your feet. At your ankles, all the way up to above your head, and midway up over your arms. So you're kind of ready to up. Your feet just kind of crunch you, and then you stomp on one of its feet, knocking it out, and then headbutt the other one above your head, and that like stomp and the headbutt crushes through the other team, and you burst out of it. But the bite force does 90 points of damage to you. Oh wait, no, it boosted it by 1 in critical. 100 points of damage to you.
Okay. Let me do the math on this real quick. So it's 30, so it's 45. Alright, so if I take 25.
It's, you go body armor first, and then...
Yeah, and then that. So that's a total of 75. Yeah, and then I'll have to burn it. So it's 75. So then I have 25 left. So that puts me at 1.
You can only burn your iron will once per turn.
Yeah, right. You can't like double stack it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're rolling 30,
Yeah.
right? Which puts you at 70. Iron will is how much?
I have 48 moments left.
48 left?
45.
45. So that would mean
Yeah.
you would take 35 damage, and then... Or no, 20. Yeah, you're right. 25
Yeah,
damage.
20 feet, right? Yeah. So I'm at 215, and then it's 37.
Yeah.
So 3.
Okay. Yeah, you still got this. You know Iron Will.
Yeah, I'm an old hat.
Yeah.
That Gyarados is way nastier than this. That was a long time ago, but I remember that.
Yeah, as you busted your way out of its teeth, your Dr. Fredrickson, you just hear it screaming, "Ah!" And then the other one lunges up and it bites up at where you're at, and you turn, and as you see it coming, you just swing one wide kick into like a half roundhouse kick from way back, and you swing around and you kick it in the side of the head. It almost flips the whole monster over. It falls over and hits into the side of the rubble and pushes itself back up as one of the heads itself.
Okay, cool. I dig it.
At this point, Molan turns the corner and cursing you. He says, "How dare you try to interfere with my plans? I don't know who you are, but I am the Mole Man, master of the subterranean world."
I'll say to Dr. Fredrickson, why does this guy want you?
As you say that to him, you look, and he's just, if Dr. Fredrickson is passed out. He's screaming to himself till he passed out right there.
He's just like overwhelmed with terror.
Yeah, there's just drool coming out of his mouth, and he's laying there.
That's fair. That is fair.
I mean, that thing, one of its heads is more than big enough to eat his whole car, so...
Yeah, and he literally just saw like this giant mouth just like swallow me, like these arms like holding him up. That'd be horrible.
You're like 60 feet in the air right now.
Yeah.
Flying.
Yeah, horrifying.
And he says, "I will not have your metal anymore." And he goes, he comes forward, and then you hear, and from the ground below there, you see like rockets shoot and jet propulsion come out, and the drill shoots into the air, and and the drill just starts spinning, and he's gonna hit you with the drill.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love everything about that.
He's gonna spin karma and get a green.
Okay. All right. So he has a jet powered drill. That's that math.
Yes, he has a jet powered drill machine.
All right. So
with
let's
a laser gun built in, with a death ray built in.
Yeah, this is This is like one of the best points we've had in a long time. Oh,
As the drill comes in, you see it.
do I
You
just
look
like
back and forth.
punch it down?
You throw Dr. Fredrickson up into the air. He's just passed out, whatever. And, okay, you want to punch it down? And it's
Yeah, just do it.
You take your two fists and boom!
Right into the nose of it to send it straight into the monster.
Yeah, okay. So you see that shockwaves. It goes boom, and like it shatters the windows by, and it goes boom, smashes into the ground. It was coming from this side, and the monster was coming from the other side. And as it hits the ground, it flips end over end, and one of its the back end of it walks into the head of the other monster. You see him like taking its head off, and it turns and looks over at you, and it's like lunging forward to bite again. The tail end of the drill just boom, it flips over into it, and the drill hits over onto its back. It's upside down.
Awesome.
The drill seems to be mostly fine, but getting hit out of the air seems to have thrown it a bit. It does not seem to be a very stable flight path.
Yeah. It was a desperate attempt by Mole Man. He wanted to make sure we didn't get away. And I will.
And then you catch Dr. Fredrickson. Yeah.
Catch Dr. Fredrickson. Poor guy. That's hysterical. So are we now at the top of the round again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I just saw that, and I'm like, I make a mental note. I'm like, oh man, we gotta go back and look at the footage on that. That was pretty cool. So the drill is on top of the Hydra creature.
Yeah, I just smacked into the head of it and sent it forward.
Okay. Okay, but it's not like the head isn't pinned under. Okay, just like hit into it. All right, so Mole Man, but you said that the glass was shattered, right?
No. You shattered the glass of the surrounding window. You know, when you punch something really hard and that light shockwave goes boom. It's like
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Well, I still don't want him to get Dr. Fredrickson. So, I think what I'm gonna do is like just do like a drive-by, like swoop through, kick, like try and kick the monster like maybe into the drill. You know, just like.
Probably impossible.
Okay, then we won't worry about it. How is this monster looking?
Not very bad, to be honest.
Yeah, it can take a better beating. Okay, so can I like hit it twice and then like zoom away?
Sure.
Okay, that's what I'll do. You know what? I'll roll for 2, just to speed it up. So what I'm going to do, because I'm holding Dr. Fredrickson, I'm going to use some of my kickboxing. I'm just going to like go pow, pow, like right into the ribs, right here.
Okay. Alright.
I think it's a green.
And a white,
Yeah,
right?
green or white. Yep.
Alright. As you come flying in for the first kick, the monster turns, seeing you, one of its heads, one of the non-bludgeoned heads, turns and sees you, and you, as you're about to swing one of your kicks in, you hear a snap as like you break the sound barrier with your kick, and then sonic boom starts to happen, and then you hear another one. And you're like, what? And your head turns a little bit to the side, and you see the tail whipping at you. And you go, poof, and shoot back up. It misses you. And then you just try to drop kick it, like shooting yourself back down, because true flight works that way. And you were about to just like crush into its spine. And one of its heads turns back, and since they just like almost a boneless kind of serpentine, it just kind of flips backwards, twists around, and then lunges up at you, and it's like it's going to swallow you whole, and you spin off to the side.
Okay, and then I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm pressing my luck, and I'm gonna like zip back here behind it.
I move Dr. Fredrickson.
Yep. So we're like back here.
Fruiton sees what's going on, and he jumps up, he runs across the rubble, which is still I mean, this has been a very short amount of time, it's still collapsing. The front half is just gone, it's already totally collapsed, it's a pile of rubble. Or the back half is like slowly falling down, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, he runs through the collapsing rubble, somebody comes through and cuts it as he's running past, and then he jumps out to the other side and takes his sword, and he goes, and like blasts it forward, and it, I'm gonna have to do a roll for it. Stabs it into the back of the rope.
Nice.
Alright, he goes and plunges it into the back of the monster. It lets out a yelp of a sort, but it comes out more of a deep guttural growl. And Fruiton almost plunges himself up into his into the wound, up to his to his shoulders, and he pulls himself back out, his back slips off of it, and lands on the ground below him, and then runs around to the other side of the boat.
Fair. That's awesome.
Meanwhile, on the other side, you see Shooting Star. She rolls. Well, you don't see her. She rolls out from the garden as she runs out from amongst the plants, leaps over some roses. She's shooting her gun, and slides past some the air conditioning and the big turbine vents that are on top of buildings.
Yeah.
And she slides to the bus stop. She keeps shooting, and the monster comes running forward. And as it's about to bring its fist down, she shoots it again in the head, and you see it. Autopsy, its head cocks backwards, and it stumbles for a second, and it just starts to wobble, and then it goes poof, and starts to fall forward.
Ooh. Way to go, Shooting Star!
She sees it coming, and then turns and jumps down off the side of the building, activating her boots and glides through it, as it just plows into the building, causing immense. You guys have caused immense amount of collateral damage.
Yes. Well, hey man, comes with the territory, you know?
Dr. Fredrickson.
That's right. That's right. And you said that most of the people have been able to get out.
Yeah, nobody's seriously injured.
Okay.
Medical services surround this whole block.
Yeah. Let's wipe that off. Okay. I like that. I like that plan. All right. Wow, good job, Shooting Star. Ralph feels like a surge of pride.
Been shooting at it for 3 rounds straight now. Or 4 rounds.
Yeah. We're gonna have Nega Ralph. He I'm just gonna say he kind of wades into the center here.
Yeah.
Now he's figuring out that they just phase through.
There seems to be an almost infinite amount, but there's hundreds laying unconscious in this city block now. There's piles of unconscious moloids.
These poor little guys.
Moloids go. They had spread out all over the place, and where are you? Okay, you're in this intersection.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of up in the air.
As you are waiting there, suddenly a bunch of moloids pop out of those sewers and they start pelting you with pop cans and rocks.
I'm trying to keep Dr. Fredrickson from getting hit.
To shield Dr. Fredrickson, nothing else.
I wrap him in a shadow picture. Yeah. So.
Shooting Star, however, is on the ground, and when moloids just bust out of the building behind them, one of them's wearing a top hat, and the other one's got a cane, and they rush at her, and they start swinging stuff, pool sticks,
oh, they're
just a bunch of stick-like objects and costume hats, where moloids rush her. She falls backwards shooting up, but she gets clubbed a couple times, and they are surrounding her. She says, Ralph, I need some help over here.
Oh, shoot. Okay. So I will definitely zip over towards her.
Before you get to move, though, the giant monster whips around, and it seems to be focused on you. It rushes forward. You notice that when it was biting, it's trying not to eat Dr. Fredrickson as much as possible. But, you know, if he loses a limb or two, that's acceptable loss.
That's okay. Yeah.
So it comes at you, and this time, its first thing it does is it tries to whip you with its tail.
Okay.
3 attacks, 3 dodges.
Oh shoot.
White, green, white.
White, yellow,
Red.
red. Yeah.
Alright, so, as its tail whips forward, you see it coming and you drop one arm and you kind of block it on the outside. It stings a little bit, and it's decided to feel recovered in your super suit, so
Yeah.
you might get a well from that one, but otherwise no real
Yeah,
effect.
bruises.
As you push it back, the teeth come lunging in, and you see that coming and you drop backwards. It bites. That's where your face was, and you hit in the face, under the head, you fly away, and it knocks the head up, and that head knocked away, and the other one lunges forward with surprising speed, and it looks like it's about to swallow you, when you fly over top of it, and then just boom, with a palm, like swat its head down, and it smashes into the ceiling.
Yeah. I dig it.
The heads are really badly damaged at this point, and the monster's not looking so good.
Okay.
From 3 pounders.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nice. Now, Mole Man, what's he?
His jets activate, and they push him onto the ground, and then the jets come out of the side where the treads are, and it pushes it, kind of slides across the ground and like a ribbon of the ground, and then he hits into the side of the building, and both sides of the jets have flipped him over, and he flies up into the air, and he's like, "You made a fool of me enough! I'm Mole Man, master of all the subterranean realms!" And the laser beam activates. And it fires him. Futin says, "We're not getting anywhere, Ralph. Have you found a way in?"
Well, I need to roll for Evie and see what she's found. Hold on, Evie's still working. I think that's a yellow for
I got
me.
a green. Yes, it is yellow. So the thing rips past, it shoots right past this monster, and then it gets
Barrels by me.
barrels by. Yeah, so I think that was where I'm going with that. It more like it digs a trench as it crashes into the road and just rips up about a block away. As it doesn't rip it up because it's not a force, but it melts it. And as you look back, it's just molten slag filling the ground.
Okay. Yeah, hold on, Putin. Evie's still looking. And then I guess if it's the top of the line, then me and her, we're gonna zip over to the Mole Man here to make this thing like turn around again. I got Fredrickson, so I'm trying to like be cautious, but we're gonna do some investigation on this thing.
Right.
So let me see here real quick. So we've got Evie's hacking, and then detective isn't gonna help. I don't have like an observation finger so much. So me and her together. We're both on the same thing. So I'm gonna roll for 2. I'll use my 2 attacks to try and like get inside this thing, or like find it.
Roll
Roll 1 at a time. Okay.
That's why.
There we go.
First one,
There you
Eva
go.
goes, "I found it, autopsy, I just need a little at a time. On the, back right side from where we're at, there's a port there, it seems to be some sort of welded on part, but, it looks weaker than the rest of the materials, same material, but, the joints are a weakness here. You get that open, we might be able to get access.
Okay. Thanks, Evie. Futon, there you go. I'm gonna try and hold this thing off.
Through
Waste
the
some time.
radio. What are you gonna do? The shooting star's like, I need some help over here, Ralph.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna-
you gotta get this vent open to get rid of the mole man.
Can Futon like hack through the vent on his turn? Can he like hop up there and do that? Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna give Futon the marching order there, and then I'm gonna grab Shooting Star. Oh no, actually, can I send Nega Ralph to help her out?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, because he can get over there. He can fly.
Yeah, you can walk.
And then I'll try and pry off the vent.
Alright. Nice.
There you go.
Let's roll.
There you go.
Alright, so you leap down there, you pull, and it's taking literally all of your, actually, it's taking all your strength, but if you yank and you pull, it starts to give a little bit, but it's not quite pulling off. Okay.
Yeah.
You got it just enough to get your fingers in there.
Alright, I'll say, Futon, I need your help.
You can either boost that by spending karma to get a red, or...
Oh, yeah. No, I'll boost it. We're cinematic mode now. Okay, so that's 3. Okay. Yeah, so I just need to spend 10, right?
Yep.
Bump it up.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll.
And you're like, no, I'm not gonna let you commit. I don't know what you want to say. Commit your
No, I'll say, Mole Man, that's enough of you. And I'll just pull it off.
Yep. You toss it off to the side. Dr. Fredrickson laying there unconscious on top of the mole machine next to you. It's definitely called the mole machine now.
Absolutely.
And, as you pull it off and then throw it off to the side, there's a bunch of wires and a little screen with like a almost like a heart monitor connected to it.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll plug Eevee up to it and
You're gonna your turn number. So I guess
Yeah.
actually
Futon.
Nega Ralph flies through. He goes, it just he mows through him. That you're gonna throw it off to the side as he just flies straight forward. And you round the corner. He rounds the corner and flies into the ones near Shooting Star, and Shooting Star grabs hold of him. No, actually, he holds his hands out like this as like a flat platform, and Shooting Star jumps onto his hands and he flies up carrying her.
yeah, because she can stand on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool.
Shooting Star sees the other one monster on the other side, and she goes doop, 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 and starts shooting at it. Like before, it's no issue to hit these giant monsters. They're accurate. Their ability to dodge is abysmal. So it's basically automatic for anybody who's decent at shooting. So, gunshots are fired. The monster stumbles. It looks like it's on its last legs as Shooting Star fires at it. But Futon runs past it, not waiting to try to take it down, and runs down to the mole machine, leaps up, runs across the back, and slides to the stop, and he sees what's down there, and he like pulls a cord off, plugs it into the side of the monitor, and he starts doing something. Let's see how the
Yeah.
run goes. Alright, that's three. Yep, it's green. Which is more than enough because Mole Man is pretty smart, but
He's not Futon's.
well, he's pretty close actually.
Is he?
Yeah, but Mole Man sees it happening. He's like, "No, you cannot interfere with my mole machine. Don't ruin my plans." And as he comes up, he lowers the staff, and Futon's like, "I've almost got it, Ralph." And he looks like he's aiming the fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna leap, towards Mole Man to stop him. tackling.
Alright, you leap in front of it, and a giant electrical discharge goes and shoots down like a giant bolt of lightning. Comes flying down the length of the machine. Mole Man sees you and he says, "No, my plans are ruined." As it hits you in the chest, it deals 70 points of damage.
70? Okay.
And Futon's like, "Got it, Ralph." And the mole machine just goes. And you can hear like the jets go down and the laser like flops loosely unconscious, and Mole Man slides back into his sheet and he says, "I'll return, I'll never be defeated," and he presses a big red button on his dash, and a little tiny mole, a drill, shoots out from the top and it burrows in the ground.
Is he supposed to get away, or can we like catch him and like shake him about in it?
I will not prohibit you from taking action in the tunnels of Subterranea, if you so wish.
I don't really want to go and chase after him in tunnels of Subterranea. I kind of feel like he's one of those villains. He's always supposed to get away in exactly this kind of way, like his little mole rover. You know. I feel like that's.
As you're like debating this, you're like, you run to the end and you're like, it got zapped a little bit, and you're like taking a little bit of a breath. You look down, you see him going, you see him falling away like really fast. Not so fast that you couldn't catch up to him, but he like starts to weave a winding pattern, and he's getting deeper and deeper all the time. You see the mole lights, they're like looking around, and they're like, and they start to funnel back towards the tunnel. And the big monster walks over to the big tunnel it had, with one of its heads just hanging loosely. The other head just kind of nudges it. They're like, "Hey," like kind of like, "Hey, buddy, you okay?" Like as it tries to hit it, it's like, "You still there?" And they walk back into the tunnel.
It's like, and like everyone just kind of goes back down into the tunnels.
The mole lights all appear up underneath of the big one, and they start carrying it away.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get up on like one of the roofs that hasn't fallen apart with Putin and Victoria and Mega Ralph, and we'll just like watch the silent procession of mole men go back into the ground.
Yeah.
And I'll like take the rubble and like pile it over the hole, you know.
Yeah, and they're just kind of like dragging their friends, and but then as you see them enter the hole, you see like thousands more that were like walking their way up. You notice that they were just walking up until they got to the surface. Then they burst and started running. And as they see their friends, like they have like right lane is up, left lane is down. You know,
yeah.
And as they start filling in the left lane, the right lane people they go, and they start to say that like something down, and then you see rubble like come up from deeper in the earth, and they start to fill it in themselves in front of them.
Just like pile it back.
Yeah.
And like the ones that were coming up on the right, do they just like turn around and join the ones on the left?
No, they're it's like a fire brigade line of rubble.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll just.
So you're
I imagine
standing there like arms crossed, all of you guys watching it. Victoria looks pretty rough. Fujin is totally unfazed. Victoria got hit quite a bit. You got hit quite a bit. Actually, you might be worse off than her.
I've still actually got half.
Yeah.
I've got over half my health.
Victoria looks bruised, but probably around 3/4 if we were to statistically put it out. Like, because they only did 10 points of damage until they started getting weapons. And then,
yeah, like canes and stuff.
Yeah, and then they were doing like 15, maybe 20.
Yeah.
Because there's actually weapons that do 15, which are regular weapons. But anyway.
Like pieces of pipe and stuff.
Yeah. So they were attacking. That's when she really started to get hurt. I mean, occasionally they would hurt her with just their fists, but so you're actually probably the worst off injured. So you guys are all standing there, and you're looking out, and you're like, the whole block has been destroyed. Whole other section of block has been destroyed. There's a number of fires all over the place from the laser beams. And you look off in the other direction where he was chasing after him, and you see some cars with the roof slipped off, and just some footprints where the monsters were walking. And then you look back in your section, and then you see another building where the serpentine monster whipped its tail, and it just collapses at that point.
Hey, it's a moral victory.
You look down at Dr. Fredrickson, who's just lying there unconscious next to you.
Yeah. I'll kind of like pat him awake. But hey, Doc, you're safe.
He looks up and says, thank you so much. Oh my God, where did I... And he just sits there, he's just like having a...
Sorry, we couldn't save your car.
And he looks over and he goes, my lap! And then this tower over here, it goes... And it collapses down to nothing.
Doctor, before we let you go, why did he want you? What was the motivation there?
I don't know.
Are you doing any kind of research with
I never
giant
even worked with Harvey.
That's his name? Harvey?
Harvey Elder, yeah. Didn't you know? He was a famous scientist. People made fun of him for, looking weird like he does. And his eyesight got a lot worse after he moved underground, but, and plus he always had those really sensitive pads on his fingers.
See, I mean, he knew you. He wanted you to help him rule the underworld.
Yes, I'm a nuclear scientist, but I've done some interesting work on radiation and shaping it for heating applications. And Evie and Futin are
like, it makes sense to them what he's...
Yeah. And Futin's like, that heat ray was probably some sort of radiation manipulated heat ray. He was probably wanting to make a bigger or more deadly heat ray.
Well, Ralph kind of looks over the war zone. At least it was contained to this part of India. It didn't affect the stadium.
As that corner building over here collapses.
Yeah. Huh. I guess we'll have to make a report and then get the hell out of here. Well, Doc, stay safe. Be well. Don't, maybe like...
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, some way that he can avoid the mole man. I'm like, shield helicarriers? Those are kind of cool. Maybe they'll let you work on one of those. Yeah, stay off the ground for a little while, Doc.
Dr. Fredrickson just looks up at you, and Victoria just pats you on the back, and she says, I'm not so sure this is the right choice.
Yeah, I got nothing. You might be right.
And, you guys, and she says, look at the bright side, Ralph. You kept it away from my car.
Oh yeah, her car's okay. And then I imagine it's like me and Futin look at each other like the closing shot. We're like,
Yeah, the closing shot's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then Victoria goes over and wipes some dust off the convertible top.
Hey, at least we can still drive.
And
yeah, man.
You guys
that's pretty cool.
Make your way away. Karma for that is I'm giving you a little bit of a hard time there. But it would have been really hard to prevent a lot of property damage considering who Mole Man was. You did get him to attack a lot of buildings. That's Victoria's fault, kind of. But
yeah, I mean, we tried, but my thought was hey, if I can keep them in this block,
yeah,
better than
You did a good. I think you probably. I can't really think of a better way to run that on in terms of your goals, which was make sure Victoria didn't get hurt too bad, take down the mole man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if you kept Victoria on the ground, she would have just gotten pummeled by the moloids. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
But by putting her on the building, she became a target because she actually got to do so much damage. Alright.
Wouldn't it have targeted her anyways, though? I mean, if she
she
on the
would have
street,
been beaten unconscious in probably 2 turns from all the moloids.
yeah, yeah. So, all things considered, I'll take it.
Or kidnapped into the underground subterranea. For,
Yeah.
for episode 2, Enter the Mole Man. Okay, so you prevented a national no, it's not a conspiracy. You prevented a violent crime. 50. And you know what? I guess it would be a national conspiracy. Well, a national offense, probably. Yeah, national offense. So that's 100. And then you didn't really rescue. You rescued Dr. Fredrickson. That's another 50. That's 150. And then you defeated I think probably a monstrous A-class villain. Yeah, an A-class villain, which puts you at 275. You committed a 5 minus property destruction. We're gonna do this time.
Yeah, we gotta do this. We gotta do this legit. I definitely committed property destruction.
It's 5 per area, so that's
Okay, stayed pretty local though, right?
1. Yeah, 1, 2. Which is this area. This one's not your fault. That one didn't get destroyed. I think this building.
I got hit. Remember the laser that I dodged here? That was like right here.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 60 minus 60. What were you at?
60.
Yeah, minus 60.
Okay.
But you got, what did I say you had?
So 50, 150, and 275.
No, I added those up at the end. You add.
Oh.
So
270.
minus 60, you add, let's see, 50, 100, so I'm adding. 150, 275 total.
Okay, so we made 215.
Yeah, but I'm going to give you, this was, and we got, you get an extra 30 for weekly award, attending and role playing.
Okay. So 245.
Yeah, that works out pretty well, even with the massive property destruction.
Yeah, 245 is not bad. That's good.
Destruction like that,
I mean, they kind of have to. If you're going to penalize people for property destruction, like no one's going to.
Superheroes, right?
Yeah,
Superheroes
exactly.
have massive property destruction.
Yeah, like.
So you have an international reputation, right?
Yes.
And you have in Europe, your reputation is.
I can tell you in just a minute. I'm just calculating this. I'll still know. Alright, let me calculate. Give me just a second. Say that. Ralph's rep. We haven't messed with reputation in a while, to be honest.
Well, you're so famous that you're not really in a position to get reputation in those places.
So his international reputation is 4. He's got 50,
It's what?
40,
40, and you're
55 in Ireland.
oh, raise your Ireland by 10.
Okay.
That seems about, maybe that might be even two. Actually, raise it at 270. I think that's what you should be at.
70.
Yes.
Yeah, he's kind of like the premier Irish heroes, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time since we raised reputation for you.
Yeah.
So your international is still 40, I would say though. So you get +2 for this, and for defeating the Mole Man. And as you were driving away, later that evening, you and this is, that was the end of you and Futin looking at each other was the end of that scene, and then the end of the episode is foreign, like a news flash, like talk discussion. What do you think about these foreign heroes coming into Indianapolis and destroying 3 city blocks and causing over $50 million in property damage?
Man.
And that somebody's like, well, the Fantastic Four wouldn't have done it with it like that.
Yeah, okay. Is this some like talk?
Yeah,
like,
it's a
like
talk show. It's like an expert.
professional on superheroes.
He's talking about there's 3 experts like superhero training and professional behavior expert. He's a liaison for the Great Lakes Avengers.
Yeah.
And then there's
probably like some college professor, right? Some like.
No, he's like a paid liaison guy. He does like career development, whatever.
Yeah.
Then there's an insurance and like an economics expert on how much these superhero fights in our cities cause property damage and lower.
Yeah, that's totally a job.
Lower property values for everyone, and it's a multi-billion-dollar business to repair after these people.
Yeah.
And then there's the supportive person who gets talked over.
Yeah.
And he's like, they don't really, they say, Roberta Hemmings, who is the spokesperson for a New York-based superhero team. And she's like, during my work with the Fantastic Four, I believe these kind of things are pretty normal. And they're like, well, what is your experience, really? I mean, these people have 25, and they're like, as they go on, a concerted media attack hits you in the United States, and your actions here. And you lose 5 points of international popularity.
Yeah. Ralph looks at. So it's 2 minus 5. So I guess for like a cumulative loss of 3, right?
Yeah. So you are this. However, like that evening when you're watching the news on like 4 or 5 channels, you are the major news over like the capital city protests that are getting antsy. Getting heated. And you are the big news.
We make that little blurb. Well, Ralph's just gonna look over at Putin and be like, "Can't win them all." But hey, good work, you guys. Thanks a lot.
Nice job, Jordan.
Hope there's nothing. Let's hope Chicago's a lot more.
Okay, and that'll be the end for today. I'm going to stop our recording now.